Sports Radio AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Live from Marley's at Desert Ridge, you are listening to Real Hockey Talk. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Dave Isaac, alongside Greg and Rick, the hockey guru from Boston who lives in Phoenix. That's my favorite thing to say, Rick, these days. And welcome. So this is great. You're live here. Sometimes you call in. Sometimes you voila,
right.
You're here.
I was here with Barry that one time. I'm here live again.
Wow, and you are alive.
I am alive.
Live and alive.
I made it back from Vegas okay.
Yeah, how was that, by the way?
It was good. We had a great time. No show. We just chilled. The fun part, driving back, we had about 50-mile-an-hour crosswinds.
Oh, wow.
All the way through, all the way down to Wickenburg. So that
slowed you up a bit.
It was a little tiring, too.
Man.
But we had a good time.
And where did you have your great steak dinner?
Smith & Wolenski's.
Is it good?
It's good.
That's big, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
But no show, huh?
No, we didn't catch a show, so we just gambled a little bit. People watched. That's how we did it.
Well, that's good. I like the people watching, the lights, and the food is good, too.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you got to – well, it's generally good everywhere. So
people watching is the best.
It is. Yeah. Did you go to Trump Tower?
No, I did not go there, but interestingly, though, I did change my mind, and I put another Stanley Cup winning pick. I'm all in on the Blackhawks right now.
Oh, is that? Really?
So that's been a little bit of a shift based on how they're playing. I figured it was worth a shot.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, that's a bummer in a way. So
it is.
Really, the Blackhawks.
It's a business pick. It's not from the heart.
Yeah. Well, we have a great show today, though, and we were scheduled to have 115 Coach Guy. So we're going to have to try to change things around because we have at 1:35 Craig Harris, an investigative reporter for the Republic and AZCentral.com, talking about the Coyotes. You heard about, of course,
yes.
Gary Bettman using his power now to send a letter to the state of Arizona, the president of the Senate, saying, hey, give us a couple bucks and we'll stay. You know, they got to fund part of the Coyote situation, the arena deal.
That's a tough one.
Or else they're leaving. And then at 2 o'clock, your guest.
Yeah, I got my good friend of mine, Elena Sharp, a fellow. I golfed with her, but she's on the LPGA. She's a Canadian from Hamilton, Ontario, lives down here in the East Valley. And coming up next weekend right here at Wildfire is the Bank of Hope Founders Classic LPGA event, the 16th through the 19th. I suggest everybody come out, bring your Canadian flags, root for Elena, but she's also a hockey player, and we'll chat with her around 2 o'clock.
So that would be really, really good. And then we have at 2:30, Anthony Kern, a member of the Arizona House of Representatives, representing District 20. You know where that is. Glendale, he's a politician. He's going to talk about the Coyote situation, and he has things to say.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, he certainly does not want them to leave Glendale, but he probably, I'm guessing, well, if you're not in Glendale, au revoir, whatever the other terms are that I can't say on the air. And then 3:30, Leonard Outs, I think his name is, or Orts, Ouzts. How do you say that? Ouzts.
Orts. I would go with that.
All right, you go with it and see what he says. And Rick Bronson's House of Comedy, he's performing tonight and I believe tomorrow too. Funny guy. I saw some clips on him. He's very, very funny. So we got a lot of stuff going on, and I need to try to change some time slots here, see what we can do. But here's a heartfelt story in hockey. Margaret Rosso, have you heard of her?
No, I have not.
She owes her life to two young St. Louis fans. I know Greg won't like the word St. Louis fans right now because they're on a 3-game winning streak and the Kings are trying to chase them. But they were able to save the 88-year-old grandmother, Jared boy, this is a tough name to pronounce. Razowicz.
Okay.
I think that's wrong. And Colin Fenton, two complete strangers who were on their way to watch a Blues game when they saw a house burning, and then was the 88-year-old grandma, and they saved his life.
That's fantastic.
It is a good heart story.
We need stories like that every now and then.
Yeah,
those are good ones.
It was sort of cool because they got honored before the Blues game, I think last night, I believe, and in which they won over Anaheim. By the way, not good for the L.A. Kings, but what can you do, right? So that was sort of cool. The two good Samaritans, good citizens, saving an 88-year-old grandma.
Very nice.
I like that. So, all right. So we got a lot of hockey. Your Boston team is playing Philly. They changed the channels here.
They are. I think it's 1-1 at the end of 2. It's going to be a big third period coming up.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt, and that should be really excellent. Of course,
Bruins in good shape, though.
So where are they now in the standings?
They got 76 points.
Yeah.
They're still in the East. They're behind Montreal and Ottawa. Ottawa, very hot. They have a couple of games in hand on Montreal. But the Bruins are 7-3 in their last 10 games. They're playing really well. We'll talk a little. You look at some of the games coming up for some of these teams. I see Boston in. I don't have a lot of confidence in L.A. right now. Their next 5 games, they're playing the Washington Capitals today.
Yeah.
The Blues on Monday.
Oh.
Coyotes on Tuesday. Buffalo on Thursday, and then Calgary. That's an opportunity for L.A. to come up with 8 points.
Oh, there you go.
I think those are must-win. If you flip it over to the East, Tampa Bay, playing well right now. On the outside looking in. I want to know who put this schedule together for them. They just beat the Wild. Today they got to play Florida, must-win situation. Monday they play the Rangers. They play Ottawa Tuesday, the Leafs on Thursday, and then the Capitals on Saturday. That is a tough run of hockey.
Yeah, that is.
That is a very tough run.
So you think? So how many points do you think the Kings can get with that?
I'm going to say they need 8.
They need 8.
I think they need 8.
But tonight's Washington.
Tonight's the Capitals.
Easy.
And Capitals, they're struggling a little bit right now. They've lost a couple of games in a row. Maybe they're getting a little tight. Now's the time for L.A. to capitalize on that. They should be able to beat the Blues. They're playing the Coyotes, who are playing well, but that's a game they should win. And they should win Buffalo. So I have that as 6 points. They got to get 2 from either the Capitals or Calgary, 1-1.
And Calgary is blazing.
8 in a row.
Man.
Hottest team in hockey.
They so what is that? What's up with that team?
Gelling, I think. They're just gelling at the right time.
Goaltending
has settled down.
Yeah.
Elliott's playing well. I mean, they're 9-0-1 in their last 10.
Wow.
Yes.
That is the hottest team in hockey, and it's the perfect time. You're right. I mean, or is it? Let's see. How many games are about 20?
Well, yes, it's between. Some teams have played 66 games, others 68. So you got like between 14 and 16 games left for most of the teams.
Yeah.
This is crunch time. This is when you get that mouthpiece, you adjust it in, you punch your shoulder pads on each side, and the anthem's playing, and you're rocking your legs with your head down, and you go out there, and this is where the cream rises.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so now, traditionally, the Kings have somewhat trouble against the Coyotes.
They do.
Even though you think, with the type of season they've had, the amount of points, but Mike Smith can keep the Coyotes in a game.
He can.
And that would be, so these are really must-wins for the
LA.
Kings. Did you see the game the other night?
The Coyotes-Ottawa game?
No, the Kings.
Yeah.
That was
a very good game.
Yeah, Nashville. That was a very good game. And, of course, they're sort of chasing Nashville, too.
They are. They have a tough road to hoe.
Yeah.
L.A. It's going to be very difficult for them to get in right now. They're looking up at a lot of people.
Yeah, so you think that so I just got a text from we'll have Kevin Guy on about 2:15 or so.
Okay.
Roughly. And so We said reschedule that, but that's okay. Things like that happen. Now, preparing for, this whole mess with the Coyotes arena, there's a lot of, background that I think Craig Harris will share with us, but we knew a lot of it already. But, what I understand is right now there's not an appetite from the lawmakers, the Senate or the House, to, hand off $250,000 in incentives to the Coyotes. So it's interesting. I don't know. I just find it interesting that if you're in business and you have to rely on the government to fund the private enterprise,
you're not a business.
You
then.
probably shouldn't be in business.
You shouldn't be in business.
Yeah. That's a problem, isn't it?
It is. I mean, look at taxpayer sentiment, everything that's going on. You're dealing with a professional sports team. Let's peel it back a little bit. Have they put a good product on the ice in the last 5 or 6 years? That doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
That doesn't help at all. I mean,
Yeah.
They haven't been challenging for anything. And then you take the tax consequences.
They
on
have
top
been
of
challenging for the number 1 draft choice,
yes,
which
yes.
they haven't gotten.
No, they haven't.
And they've gotten the
yeah,
up
the
to
tea
number
leaves
3.
haven't worked out good on that one either.
It
But
hasn't.
you can't expect the state local government to pony up that kind of money and put the burden on the taxpayer.
Yeah.
Granted, you look at a stadium and you look at a building and you build up around it, and there's revenue and there's events. It's not just hockey; it's concerts, it's Frozen Four, Final Four, everything you get, and you try to offset all those tax dollars. You can do that, but it's still difficult. I mean, when Dallas built their stadium, Jerry Jones, I don't believe he got any money from Texas or Dallas. I mean, he's swimming in money anyways.
He is swimming.
What you do is you ask the state to support the infrastructure, the ingress, the egress into the building, fix the highway, fix the off-ramps. That is something that they should do.
And that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But for brick and mortar, that's not right.
No, not at all. And, they call it a community engagement district. It's funny how they come up with these fancy, attractive terms. Community engagement district that would keep half its sales tax revenue to fund arena construction. So I don't know. I just like you said, and we've been talking about, if you can't run your own business,
right,
and you don't have reserves, and that's always been a problem, I think, with the Coyotes, as well as other sports teams too. It's not just the Coyotes, but it's a tough one, and I don't know. We'll hear from Anthony Kern, the 20th District House of Rep of Arizona. He's saying that why have another arena? It's bad enough the Coyotes are leaving Glendale for the Glendale residents.
Right.
But when you have another arena, guess what? It's competing with concerts and other stuff.
Right.
So
another
it even
venue
further
complicates
a problem.
It does. What I'm trying to come to terms with, if you look back east, whatever happened to the idea of a shared building? It's everybody has to have their own building. The Bruins and Celtics play in the same place. The Rangers and Knicks play in the same place. The Blackhawks and the Bulls play in the same place. The Red Wings and the Pistons will downtown. Why can't that happen here?
Well, that's a good point. We should get Greg in on this and find out why. But I'm thinking that, the Diamondbacks, obviously their own building. The Cardinals, their own building. The Coyotes' own building, the Suns' own building, the Harlem Globetrotters' their own building. What is going on here? I'm kidding about the Harlem Globetrotters.
Right. But, I can see a baseball field and a football field doesn't match up. When you got to reconfigure
they have
the
done
stadium.
that at the Coliseum.
They have, and you see what it's like. I mean, or even in Oakland, it's bad.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why, when you're looking down at a venue like a hockey or basketball, you can't, with today's technology, easily on the switchovers, to be able to put a shared building in, reduce the burden on the taxpayer, and have everybody sharing it. I just...
As long as you're not talking stick arena, because it's obstructed views for hockey.
You got it. Well, that's why I'm saying
That's
a new
problem.
one. Isn't the Suns, where they play, the second oldest building in the NBA?
I don't know.
Maybe it might be number
is.
one.
Wow.
It's one or two.
So they are number one in the hearts and the souls
in the hearts
of,
and they
of
so
old buildings.
They need a building. You can't get everybody together and build a building downtown.
Yeah, I think. I think they're looking for a new building, but not with the Coyotes. And here's Greg chiming in on that very topic.
Yes. Oh, there I am.
There you are.
Oh, I'm still catching my breath.
Yeah. You ran Desert Ridge. And we are at Marley's Desert Ridge. Come on down. That's a lot of fun here.
I don't know the whole thing behind it, but I kind of heard. The Suns, I think Robert Sarver's hard to work with in that regard.
Okay. He will be here later.
Yeah. I mean, I guess with where we're at, I don't want to talk poorly of him. No, it's in his opinion, I think he probably wants that building still just for himself. I mean, I think they probably want a new arena, but they don't want to go in on it, or they would want a different type of deal where Coyotes probably, maybe
rent.
don't have the capital to do that.
The Celtics rent from the Bruins.
Right.
50 years that's been going on.
The Lakers and Clippers, they rent from the Kings.
But I think the economic deal the Coyotes were offered was not sufficient for them. I guess they want their own place, their own luxury seats. They want the whole banana, which is I could sort of understand, but if you can't have the whole banana unless you borrow from or you get incentives from the government, then take what you can get. And truthfully, I guess if they did move financially, they'd probably be better off. But I guess the current ownership would have to sell, right, Greg?
Well, I think what would happen is they would sell, let's say this did happen and they were to relocate, they'd probably sell, let's say, maybe Hanson and the guys up in Seattle, but they would earn a lot of money from that deal, and what they could get, or wherever they would go. Now, I'm not as in tune with the business side of it and all the arena stuff. I obviously hope something gets worked out, but it does seem like this is a really delicate situation now. It's just how is this going to, pass where, government, because there's some steps that have been passed, but I think when it gets to the others, it's not going to happen, and that's the tough thing. And I hope it does. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't know how at this point, unless a miracle or somehow something comes in that
Miracle's
has
the key
some money.
Word. It's a bad soap opera.
Yeah.
I mean, say you're someone in this area and you have a ton of money and you want a toy and I want to buy a professional sports team. Mm-hmm. You look at that mess that everything's going on with the product, with the current ownership, with the building in the future. Why would you touch that?
Yeah.
You're not going to do that.
Well, you wouldn't touch it here.
No.
But you could touch it in another location.
In a heartbeat. And I think the Sharks are circling the building waiting to see that. I think Gary Bettman did a CYA. He had to do that.
Yeah.
He represents the owners.
Yeah.
He just got $600 million for Nashville.
Right.
He has to go and put pressure on Arizona to say he did it.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. And the funny thing is, and I think Gary Bettman's done a great job.
He's a great businessman.
I'm a fan of Gary Bettman. I think he's done a great job. I mean, I know he gets a hard time, right, from Canadian fans and maybe other American fans.
But out here, he's because he's the reason they're still here, really.
But, and back then he said, hey, Glendale's a perfect place. And now what does he say? Glendale is simply no longer an option. So things have changed. But I understand why he said that. I'm not saying he shouldn't have. But he was hoping Glendale would be an option. Obviously, it's not an option anymore. And they're losing, they had an incentive to run the building $15 million a year, but Glendale cut that off a couple years ago. They all started suing each other, but it wasn't going anywhere. Glendale could afford. They had the leverage on this.
Right.
You need a house to play in. I mean, you don't have a house. You don't have a team, right?
Yeah. So, they could move to an apartment like a Veterans Memorial Coliseum, right?
That's right. Bring the Roadrunners back.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that's a good place for watching hockey, but not.
Yeah, no, they would never.
You're never going to have a big revenue there.
No,
you're right.
No. They wouldn't be able to. But it was fun when the Roadrunners used to be over there. That was good stuff.
You have to. What makes it tough here is. Let's go into that locker room right now. As I said earlier, I give Shane Doan a lot of credit for sticking around here and trying to keep his head up high and all these young guys. That's got to be miserable right now for these guys.
Totally miserable. But think about Shane Doan. As good a guy he is, he has been a class guy, great captain, a good career too. I'd say a good career.
Absolutely.
But is he going to regret someday loyalty to who? Who is he loyal to?
Well,
this team may be completely a different
loyal
team.
to his family.
Yeah, I think
that's
that.
probably right.
But I do think he was willing to move. It's just no one wanted him.
But it was like what they call a penny.
They didn't get any calls
pound.
on him. That's the thing.
But when he had the opportunity 5 years
right,
ago,
I
he
hear
should
you.
have, or
Well,
maybe even last year when he
yeah,
had that great year.
Yeah,
They could have done something. But you got to feel sorry for the guy. But his values are good. I mean, you got to like the guy as a human being.
Well, he looks. I think he weighs everything. He is going to forever be. If he stays here the rest of his life, he is the face of the Arizona Coyotes.
But not if they move.
Not if they move. Correct. Okay.
He's the face of.
And he's retiring after this year, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure he is.
And so this would be it.
And
anyways.
I hope they give him the proper send-off in this building and this, because there's been no talk of doing anything like that. And then they better start percolating pretty soon.
They really should,
I'm sure they
he's one of the
would.
few that's been with one team.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, sort of two teams.
Interesting. A couple of weeks ago when we had Barry Gibbs on here, I don't believe
how's
he
Barry
mentioned.
doing?
Barry's doing fantastic.
He's a nice guy.
Here's a story that often not shared. He had an opportunity to go to the New York Islanders. They wanted him bad to be a top 4 defenseman. He would have had his name on 4 Stanley Cups.
Oh, man, with Ron Trexler.
But he did not want to uproot his family
There's a class
and move
guy too.
into Long Island. Nothing against it, but he looked at schools, family, cost of living, and he decided against that.
Right.
And he's a great dad, not just but he has no regrets for that.
Yeah.
He has
good
no
for him.
regrets.
That's a class guy.
And that's a big part of it too. And one great thing with Doan also is among many, but is how he's been able to juggle 2 careers, as an actor. I mean, his work.
No, that's Keanu Reeves.
No, it's really Shane Doan. He goes by the stage name Keanu Reeves. And it's amazing how humble he is, because as you see, Shane / Keanu rides the subway in the morning. And
John Wick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unbelievable, the samurai action and all that good stuff he could do.
That's funny.
The way he's been able to.
And then he's a restaurant guy, Shane's Rib House. I mean, the guy's everywhere.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Doan's pills, he's got those.
Yeah.
But I do feel sorry for him, because I believe he trusts people. I believe he really trusted that the Coyotes would be here pretty much indefinitely. And I think he's like, right? When the guy from San Jose didn't
right.
And then and this current organization.
I mean, and even if whether they stay or go, the fact is because he probably would retire after this year. Technically, they did stay for the remainder,
right.
But because of all the indecisiveness, things going on with the old ownership, and even though they're in a nice rebuild now in the sense of there are good young players, they could have maybe been after that 2012 Western Conference final run, maybe in a position to better themselves versus starting to go down.
Exactly.
So it's interesting. Yeah, you definitely do have to feel for him. I mean, the loyalty's been great.
And do you know of any professional athlete that is not competitive anyways? Maybe Jay Cutler. He's different.
Jay Cutler.
You know this guy wants to win and win badly. You wake up every morning wanting to win.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's got to be disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, the guys make a good paycheck, and that's great. But at the end of the day, what do you want to do? You want to win. Mm-hmm. You want to win. And to see the constant dismantling and the change of management, it's got to be disheartening.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as you guys both said, and then Dave alluded to the Greg Jameson.
Yeah.
And that kind of fell apart. And, that, to me, if I was in that position because of how everything was said, and then all of a sudden to find out, he didn't have the money, like it wasn't even close.
Exactly.
It's like, really?
So there's been some, I don't want to say deception, but throughout the process from bankruptcy years ago to now, I don't know, that's too strong a word, but I think maybe not enough information disclosing, and maybe
no transparency.
Because if you have to rely on half the cost of an arena from the state of Arizona,
you're in the wrong business.
Then did Shane Doan know that? I mean, maybe he did, maybe he's just a trusting guy, and he trusted Jameson, and that wasn't even close.
And Shane's a smart guy, but sometimes if you're not in with business and politics as much, when you hear that, you might say, is that a normal thing? I'm not sure.
Sure.
And because in the past at times it has been, so it may not always raise a red flag to everyone. I mean, like I said, I don't focus as much on that stuff, so I would say that's a little odd, but I also would need to do research to know, okay, that's not something governments like to really do anymore and stuff like that. And
yeah, well, that's what teams love to do. But
well,
governments,
yeah.
I don't think they. And then with
the
whole
U.S. government, the Canadian government, a little different.
Okay, that's
they pony up more, and that's just to do with the society in general.
It's
It's a whole different culture.
It is a whole different culture,
Yeah.
and they will do that, and they'll spread the wealth. But if you look at Gary Bettman's plate right now, it's not just the Coyotes.
Yeah.
It's the Islanders.
Yeah.
It's the
boy.
Hurricanes.
He's got a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if the Panthers are breaking even.
Yeah, we're about to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we should have Craig Harris, investigative reporter for the Republic, talking about this Coyote situation. This is Real Hockey Talk live on NBC Sports Radio. We're at Marley's. Come on down, Desert Ridge. We'll be right back.
For all the latest on the Cardinals, Coyotes, D-backs, Suns, ASU, and the U of A, visit NBCSports1060.com.
And welcome back again. You're listening to Real Hockey Talk live from Marley's at Desert Ridge. And I'm Dave Isaac alongside Greg and Rick, the hockey guru from Boston who lives in Phoenix. This is such a great place, Rick. Marley's, such a great location. All the TVs. The food is great. Justin, the general manager, is just sensational service. I always like great service, and guess what?
Makes you come back.
Yeah, it really is. I think that's the most important thing, actually. Let's bring on right now someone I just met this week, Craig Harris, investigative reporter for the Republic and azcentral.com. Craig, how are you?
Hello, hi there, guys. Craig. How are you?
Oh, we are great. Thank you so much for being on today because, if you're a hockey fan in Phoenix or the surrounding areas, you got a lot to start to contemplate. And you had a very nice article the other day, I read it, about what's going on with the political aspects, meaning will they fund, will the state of Arizona set up this, what they call community engagement district? Tell us what you know about that.
Well, there's a bill in the state Senate, and what it would do is it would create what's called a community engagement district, about 30 acres for an arena, and they're looking for sales taxes from that district to pay for, close to 50% of what it would cost for a $390-some million arena. The Coyotes would put about $170 million in, and they're looking for the local host to put in about $40-some million. So it would be all sales taxes or some kind of public funding to the tune of, close to $225 million. It's not moving at all in the legislature. It's stalled there in the Senate. And NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman this last week sent a letter saying, hey, we're not staying in Glendale. And basically, we need a new option. And it's pretty much basically threatened to move the team if the legislature doesn't give the team a new arena.
Well, I got two questions there. One would be, will the state of Arizona, the Senate and the House, react positively or negatively, or how will they react to Gary Bettman being the commissioner of the National Hockey League? And the second question, do you think this is a negotiating ploy to have Glendale panic and maybe lower their somehow or give them an incentive again to stay?
Well, on the first question, the Speaker of the House and the Senate President both told me there's not the votes there. There's not the votes there to pass this. There is not an appetite with lawmakers to give a professional sports team a brand new arena when they play an arena that's only 13 years old. Yeah. Glendale has told me over and over, to answer your second question, they have no more to give. I mean, they broke the long 15-year arena deal with the Coyotes because they couldn't essentially subsidize the team. they were paying the Coyotes about $15 million to manage the arena, and essentially about, the city manager told me about $10 million of that basically was a subsidy, because it really only takes about $5 million to run that arena. So, $10 million is a lot of money. You can pay for parks, you can pay for police, you can pay for firefighters, and Glendale just is maxed out. They can't do it anymore.
So it's a situation where both sides do not have the money in Glendale. There's nothing left to negotiate.
Right.
So they're going to have to, unfortunately rely on a government, the state of Arizona, and that just doesn't seem it's going to happen.
No, it does not seem that's what's going to happen. I mean, the only thing that's definite is the Coyotes have one more season in Glendale, and we'll see after that. I mean, the question comes down.
Could they break that lead? Could they break the extension, do you think?
Oh, well, they're in for one more year. I guess they could break it now. I mean, who knows?
So in other words, there's no option to get out of it. Sometimes in a clause they can have a buyout option or some option of some other great deal from perhaps another state or
ownership
or country. Yeah, or another ownership.
Well, possibly. I mean, I haven't read every nitty-gritty detail of the current lease, but the Coyotes have always said we're going to stay there at least one more year, and the city has said the same thing. So, things could change on a dime, but right now they'll stay one more season, and after that, who knows? I mean, you have to ask yourself the question, where else would they go? And where else would they go to get as favorable of a lease agreement as they have now? According to Glendale, they've got probably the third or fourth best lease agreement in the National Hockey League. But the question is who's going to give them an even better deal? And I don't know what else is out there. I mean, maybe if they sell the team to somebody else and they move it somewhere else, they could work that. But I don't know where the current ownership group could move them to and get just as good of a deal as they have now, unless someone else is willing to give them a retail development and hotel rights and something like that in order to make it work.
Now, if they have to move out of the state, does the current ownership have to sell, or do they have the rights to bring this to another location outside the state of Arizona? Or do you know that?
I'm not. This team had a myriad of owners, including the league, the last several years. So, I mean, anything could happen. They could sell it. If there's a buyer out there, if there's a team or a city that's hungry for National Hockey League hockey, they can maybe sell it. I mean, the talk has been Portland, Seattle, Quebec City, Kansas City. There's been plenty of talk out there that for those cities, but it would just all depend. I mean, part of it, though, is, Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the National Hockey League, he's wanted to make hockey work in the South. Fortunately, it failed in Atlanta, and they've left there. And part of it is, you probably want a big market like Phoenix when you're selling a national TV contract because, it's a big major metro market, and you would want that fan base there when you're selling national advertising. So,
although ratings have been down, I understand, right?
Well, the ratings are horrible for local ratings for the Coyotes, but that doesn't necessarily mean you wouldn't want to have a team here for the national games and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Now, Rick had a great question. Do you want to ask?
Yeah, I have a question. Currently, does the current ownership, as it's constituted today, if they had to come up with $170 million right now to contribute towards that building, do they have it, or is it smoke and mirrors?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, they contend their losses are so bad now that they can't afford to stay there. Who knows if they have the other $175 million to put up their portion of the arena? That's a very good question.
Right.
Yeah. So that, of course, that's important. I mean, we don't know what their partnership agreement or operating agreement looks like, and there may be capital calls, there may not be. Maybe they have things lined up, maybe not. But I'm sure I would guess that they could probably, if they don't have it, they could probably raise it if the state kicks in. I'm going to guess, but because I don't think you would run that through the state legislature without some hopes of either you have it or you can get it. I'm thinking
they wouldn't go through this process of hiring lobbyists and trying to push this bill through unless they had access to that kind of money. Otherwise, it would look pretty foolish.
That would do more harm than the National Hockey League, I think, and the Coyotes if they
So, I mean, I would give them the benefit of the doubt to think that the current ownership probably has access to get that kind of money or has that money. So,
which makes sense. Now, so Craig, in your opinion, you've been following this. You told me since a long time through the bankruptcy years and through the trying to find ownership material and the ins and outs of all these situations. What's your best guess? Is this the end of the road in the state of Arizona for the Arizona Coyotes? Will they be somewhere else in 2 years?
That's a really good question. I don't want to put a statement out there. I mean, I've covered this off and on since 2002 when they wanted to move out of downtown Phoenix. The funny thing at the time back then is that the ownership at that time said, hey, give us a brand new arena. Get us out from, Ben Sun's owner, Jerry Colangelo. If you give us a new arena, we can make it work. This will be great. Gary Bettman said that when the team went into bankruptcy in 2009. Glendale can work. You just have a new arena. It'll be great. Gary Bettman said the same thing with this current ownership group when they took over, 2-3 years ago, that, this arena can work. And then all of a sudden, now that they don't have the subsidies, they say it can't work. So, it's not looking that great. And frankly, I saw the same thing when I was up in Seattle, and I took a short break from being here in Arizona, and I covered the Supersonics, and they did the same exact thing. They couldn't get a new arena, and they moved the team to Oklahoma City. It would be pretty, so it might be a ploy to say, hey, look, no one wants us here. The Glendale doesn't want us. The state doesn't want us, so we're going to up and leave. So you throw some shade on yourself by setting up a situation of giving yourself some cover.
And the problem I see is that with all the troubles now, and they're here another year, I mean, I think they're, 28th, 29th in the league in attendance. The record hasn't been good. They have some pretty good potential prospects playing pretty well, but teams like, they want their team to go to the playoffs, but I think it's going to erode, and correct me if I'm wrong, the ability to sell season tickets and advertising on a team that may be on its last year.
It's the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
They're going through the motions. If you look at Gary Bettman, first and foremost, he's a businessman. That's his job for the rest of the owners. He's going to do everything he can to keep a team here and keep a team in Carolina. Quebec has this brand new $370 million building waiting for a team. He would rather have a new franchise. The reason being, Las Vegas, $600 million. It's going to be up over 600 that the owners get to split up with if they go into. They don't want to transition from a team into Quebec. They want a new team because they're not going to get $650 million.
Yeah, that's right. And Craig, let me ask you this. Strategically, because Gary Bettman's a strategic planner. I mean, they definitely, the National Hockey League is a great organization. I'm a big fan of theirs. And they've always done well. They're up in overall ratings and revenue and all that type of stuff. But strategically, did they move to have the Las Vegas team get approved in case the Coyotes left because it's so close to Phoenix? Is that possible?
It is possible, Matt. That is a good point. I mean, you guys might have more knowledge on that than I do. It's just interesting. I mean, I think the commissioner wants it to work in Phoenix or the greater Phoenix area. It is a big market. And you have more viewership here if the team gets good. The irony of all ironies is when the team was owned by the National Hockey League and being operated by the league, they were pretty good. They went to the playoffs. They went to the Western Conference Finals. They came within a whisker of going to the Stanley Cup. And then the National Hockey League sold to this current ownership group, and they've been terrible. So there is some irony there that when it was under the league's control, they did very well. They did a lot better than former owner Jerry Moyes when he did put the team into bankruptcy, and it's been a lot better than the current ownership group that you have right now.
The thing is that hockey out here in general is great. I mean, there is a great fan base, and the youth hockey has been great for a number of years, and especially, nationally more known now, with Austin Matthews and stuff. So, I mean, it definitely, in my opinion, no doubt would work here. But, yeah, they got to just let's say everything was a clean slate and there was never a team in Arizona before, but a team was moving for the first time. However, everything else with youth hockey, everything was where it's at. It would work fine because I believe that, they would get building in Tempe or somewhere that might be more accessible for a lot of the more hardcore fans. And then as the team gets better, they would definitely continue to draw. Because, anywhere with a team struggling, it's definitely tough. But the main hardcore base of fans know that you have, some great prospects. Some of these young guys already at the NHL level, some coming up. So they're being patient, and they're already the most patient fan base in the league. I mean, with what they've had to go through. And in general, I mean, I do see more excitement on the Coyotes. Even being out and about, I'll see people just in public wearing Coyotes gear more so than before. Now, I don't know about TV ratings, how all that stuff is working out. I do know that nowadays a lot of people may not have cable, but they'll go into Roku and get on the Fox Sports Go using someone else's login or something.
Don't tell you about that.
I don't know who does that. But that is still there. So the business side of it I don't know as much. Obviously, the fan in me would hate to see them leave.
Yeah.
None of us would want to see that. So I really hope that there's just some rabbit that they could pull out of a hat if it comes to that, or maybe there's more positive than we know that maybe just isn't out there yet. But I mean,
but it looks sort of tough right now.
This is the toughest I think I've ever seen it. Even before when it looked bleak, I think we kind of knew, no, they'll be okay. This is the only time where I'm a little like, ugh. Okay, this might be
because it's
situation.
totally out of the Coyotes' control. It's up to the state now.
It seems like it,
Now, and how does it affect Real Hockey Talk? We would change the name. Real Hockey Talk Ghost Town.
Ghost Town.
So we'd be called the Ghost Town. Anyway, there's a lot of – the truth is, though, there's a lot of hockey fans out here.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, they have maybe other teams they like, but – they're hockey fans, so
they'll still go to the games.
They will.
Yeah, because a lot of us are from different places, so we'll have our main team. But we'll still go and support the Coyotes on other nights, and or when they play our team, we're still there buying the stuff. But a lot of the kids now, though, that are born in Phoenix from people that move from different states, countries, now all of a sudden those kids, because they've growing up here, they're Coyote fans. It's going to take a little more time, but with the youth hockey, the way it's been booming and just everything, and that's why I just hope there's something they can do, because it does work in the West and South if done properly. Yeah, Atlanta, that was a struggle, but, we see the Southern California teams and then Northern California with the Sharks, how great it is with San Jose as
Very
well.
nice.
But they're competitive, they're winners, and the organization has a clue.
Well,
and so if you're a free agent, a hockey player right now, you're in this building one more year. You come in here and sign in a 3-year deal? Nope. You're not doing it. You're not even having your agent contact them.
And that's another problem to be competitive, is that it's going to eliminate some of the free agents.
Some of it.
And I think it's a challenge. It's a difficult challenge.
Although this offseason, other than a few names, it won't matter.
Yeah.
It's a terrible list.
But it comes down to winning.
I know what you mean.
You have to have a winner.
Yeah. Well, I will say, with them playing better and the young guys really starting to show their own and things, I do think that excitement is there, knowing, hey, look, with more improvement next year and with some of the other young guys that might come up, and because of all the assets they have where they could make some trades to bring in, maybe a top pairing defenseman in their prime. They're one of the few teams that probably have the assets to make a trade like that, and they'll have cap space to do it. So there could be that quick thing. But, the issue is, though, if you're going in and it could be a lame duck type of year where you're not sure, that does make it tough.
Might be too little too late, as they say.
Yeah, and they're not going to do it unless the NHL backs their payroll.
Yeah, and that would be tough. I'm not sure. That would be like asking the
They
state
did
of
it
Arizona.
once. I mean, they
bankrupt.
Well, you know, all those years when the NHL was throwing money into to keep this afloat, it was.
You might be right.
Well, this is different now, though, because they have the owner.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Craig.
Yeah. Well, during that time when the NHL was running the team, you have to also remember Glendale was giving the National Hockey League $15 million.
So that's right, 25 a year. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like the National Hockey League was doing it out of the gracious of their heart. They had a pretty good subsidy from the city of Glendale to keep them there. So, you know, at that point...
That's what makes Gary Bettman a great business guy.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, if you can get someone to subsidize your business or, you know, give you a load of money to operate and it's not coming out of your pocket, that's always fantastic. But that's what you have to remember. The National Hockey League is in the business of turning the profit and making money. So, you know, they've said over and over, they're losing tens of millions of dollars in Phoenix. The team has never made money since they came here from Winnipeg, and they have always lost money every single year. The only way this current ownership group makes their money is if they sell the team and it moves. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Unless they get a new arena, they've stated they can't make it in Glendale because the core of their premium ticket buyers and sponsors are on the east side of town who don't want to make that trip. So they have a legitimate argument. But on the flip side is they knew what they were buying. They knew where Glendale was located. So, you know, there's blame all the way around. It's not that one side is squeaky clean. So,
yeah.
Well, the thing like with Glendale, you know, is before the current ownership came in, and obviously at that time, though, the ownership at that time, the screw-up was, if the Los Arcos thing would have worked, that would have been great, you know, down in Scottsdale. And even though Phoenix Metropolitan, even though it's a big city per se, it's not in some ways because in other places, L.A., Chicago, people are more willing to do that hour and a half drive, living on the other part of the city and through traffic. They're not at that point yet in the Phoenix area, maybe one day. But, so definitely the building location. But I think if it's interesting because when you look, it also depends on who your owners are and the amount of money they have beforehand. Because a team like San Jose, and I don't know in the last year or so, but for a while, I mean, they would lose, you know, $15 million a year. You know, the Kings would lose quite a bit. But to their owners, it's like a hobby, sort of, because they make all their money.
Don't say that to the IRS. It'll be a hobby loss.
Oh, sorry, guys. Hey, I didn't say it. But the
point, they generate
you know what I mean.
Too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And so it's a tough situation, I think, when a group who, again, these guys may be nice guys and great business guys, great hockey fans and all that, but it's probably a much tougher situation because they don't have those billions that maybe some of the richest owners in sports have, where they could take a loss for a little while, and
that
could be tough. I mean, if you could bring someone in that could, you know, fund that, great. But I know that's
probably not out here though. I mean, it's a tough one. You get a banker or investor to look at the track record. You know, most CPAs and tax attorneys will say, well, you know, there's not much of a record here, and that's why they can't get a loan from a bank either.
True.
So,
but most people buy a professional sports team. There's only a handful that make money every year.
Yeah.
They make their money when they sell it.
Yeah, the appreciation.
Exactly.
Wow, we're up to Heartbreak. Craig Harris, where do they get in touch with you? How can they read all your great stuff?
Well, you can go to AZ Central, or you can go on Twitter at CHarris, CHARRIS, AZ Rep, and you can send me tweets or reach out to me, or some folks can be kind of mean to me, but that's all right. You know, it's no problem. I enjoy talking to readers, and so Arizona Republic and the print edition and AZ Central. So, you know, I appreciate you guys having me on, and it is, you know, you look all the way around, you know, both sides have some pretty good arguments. It just comes down to, you know, how's it going to work? And right now, you know, it's kind of a scorched earth, both with the NHL and with Glendale.
It's a tough one. Craig Harris, Arizona Republic, azcentral.com, investigative reporter. Thank you so much. We'll have you on again. Thank you very much for calling
anytime. Thanks for having me on today, guys. Thanks a lot.
Excellent. He's very knowledgeable. He's stayed close, except maybe, well, I don't know. There's still room to hope that they will stay. So we'll see if that's the case. It would be nice if Arizona had 4 major sports teams. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just frustrating in the sense of the way youth hockey is here,
right.
and just it's great. It is a hockey place.
Oh, yeah.
It's just it's like when you're way far behind to begin with.
That's
That's
hard to
what's
catch up.
hurting, right? And so hopefully that's what's strange is that not. Again, I hope they stay put. But let's say if for some reason they did, this is a type of market in 5 to 7 years. You could bring a
They
new
could
one
probably
back,
get
and it would
another
work
team.
well if it was
Yeah.
in the right location, possibly.
That's possible, I guess.
But I just
Look
I don't
at
know,
Atlanta.
I still,
That was twice.
yeah.
Right.
But I still hope that there's something that there's still some time, but there could be more. And Craig does a great job, obviously.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And I know a lot of fans and myself may go, we don't agree what he's putting, but it's not his opinion really. He's just putting what he hears.
Yeah, I don't think he
so,
wants them to leave.
Right. And the thing is that with even with him and some of the other great, media that's covering it, sometimes there still is a lot of stuff that could be happening that's so tight-lipped, and hopefully some of that is in a positive manner. So, I mean, we'll see. I may be being extra hopeful.
Well, we'll talk with
yeah.
Anthony Kern. He's District 20 in Glendale,
Okay.
House of Representatives. You want to definitely stay tuned for that at 2:30 and get his take on it. He's going to have a little different take, perhaps, than Craig, but he's right in the middle of whether this thing can be funded.
So he's going to have one of the votes for the...
If it goes to the House. It has to get
okay.
past the Senate. It's
Yeah,
stalled
so
in the
he's in
Senate
House.
now. But if
Oh,
the
okay.
full vote in the House, if it can get past the Senate. And that's, we'll ask his opinion on that. And of course, he's in Glendale, so it's going to be, he wants them to stay in Glendale.
Oh, okay,
I'm sure that's
right.
going to be the case. So, interesting topic. We want to definitely give this deserved attention because, it affects a lot of jobs, too. I mean, think about that. 1,000 jobs at justjobbing.com in the surrounding area. What would happen to Westgate, right?
Yeah, I mean...
Hey, we could call it, what do you call it? The Westgate. The Westgate Gate. You know how they put gate to everything?
I'm going to put a what-if out here. Would we be having the same conversation if the state of Arizona had made the I-10 wider and the 101 wider? And if you cut down your commute from the east side by 20 minutes, make a big difference.
That could. Actually, that's a good point.
Right, and that's the infrastructure I'm talking about. You get in a traffic jam here without a Coyotes game.
Yeah, it's tough.
Well, and it's interesting. An officer I was talking to, this is years ago, had said there's like 42 accidents a day just on the east side.
Oh.
So when there is an accident over there for people maybe from Chandler trying to get over,
Gridlock.
obviously that. On the other hand, other big cities, they could go through it. Phoenix, just the way it's set up, isn't quite ready yet. But hopefully, not just for hockey, but one day it is because.
But I have a serious question on that.
What is that?
Why were you talking to an officer?
No, it was for
That's
something
the question.
else. Yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
it
something else.
It wasn't anything bad.
Doesn't have to do one of the laws that didn't pass. Okay,
No,
but we'll talk about that later.
This was 10 years ago.
We're live from Marley's Desert Ridge. Come on down. It's a lot of fun here. A lot of TVs, great service, great food. This is Real Hockey Talk, and we'll be right back after these words.
NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
And welcome back again. You're listening to Real Hockey Talk live from Marley's at Desert Ridge. Come on down here. Great place, great food, great environment. I'm watching a bunch of TVs, different sports on right now, and it's just one of my favorite places to be. Actually, Marley's in Desert Ridge. I'm Dave Isaac, alongside Greg and Rick, the hockey guru from Boston, who lives in Phoenix.
That's right.
I say that pretty good.
You
don't
say
I?
it excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, I've never messed up on that one.
No.
But you have a great guest right now.
It is. It is my pleasure. I have a good friend of mine, Elena Shop, a Canadian LPGA golfer, and it's good timing because besides her being a professional golfer, next week out here at Desert Ridge is the Bank of Hope Founders.
Oh.
All you listeners out here, if you want to see fantastic golf, and and watch unbelievable golf swings. Come out and watch the LPGA. It's a different experience. I met Elena about 7 years ago. I'll do a little quick bio of Elena. First of all, happy birthday. We've been on a week-long Elena.
It's her birthday today?
It was the 7th, but we've been on a week-long celebration. We're going to have another party tonight.
Wow.
I can hear her laughing there. But Elena, you went to New Mexico State, All-American, turned professional in 2003 on what they now call the Symetra Tour. Got on the LPGA in 2005, has never looked back. She's a fantastic player, represented her country in Rio in the Olympics last year, her and Brooke Henderson. She was at the Ottawa Senators game the other night watching her Coyotes and been playing golf since she was 10 years old. How are you, Elena?
I'm doing great. Just taking a practice break to talk to you guys.
Wow, that's so nice of you. Thank you for calling in.
No problem.
I got a question for you, Elena. Did you start playing hockey before you played golf at the age of 10?
Well, I think I was playing hockey first. Yeah, my dad played hockey and golf, and my mom was a golfer when I first started. But I definitely was on the ice first, and then maybe golf came a few years later.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's good. You know, Elena's a big hockey fan. A lot of the frustrations that we were just talking about the team here. I mean, we're passionate Coyotes fans. Now, obviously, Elena being from Hamilton, she's got her roots with other teams, but we live here now, and we want the Coyotes to be successful. We want the Bruins and the Leafs to be successful.
And the Kings.
And of course, your L.A. Kings. So we, as a sports fan, this is regular conversation for us. Personally, I don't think the team has done a good enough job marketing to the Canadian resident that lives in this area. I just think they need to boost that up, and I also think they need to boost it up even more with the female community here, because there's a lot of gals playing hockey that are in this area, and they don't market to that. Elena, you're still skating it, right?
Yeah, well, there's 2 women's leagues in the city now. We play at AZ Ice in Gilbert, and then the Ice Den in Chandler. So there's a lot of women that like to play hockey and love hockey. And I've been here now since 2006, and there's been a league even before that. So it's been going strong, and there's more women playing now than there was 10 years ago. So there's definitely the market for it. And we actually sometimes get to go skate at Gila River, which is awesome to go skate where the Coyotes get to play. It's a great experience to be able to do that.
Absolutely. So the 2017 LPGA season is underway. Elena just came back from a 3-week swing through Asia. That alone tires you out. So we got a little break now, and we start next week here up at Desert Ridge at Wildfire, and then Elena's going to be busy for a while. So I know you've been out to Wildfire. What's the course condition? How do you think it's going to play this year?
I think it's going to play like last year. You got to make a lot of birdies, and we've had great weather. Obviously, we had a lot of rain, so it's nice and green, and the overseas took really well. It's in really good shape. So I would say that the scores are going to be the same as last year. It's going to be a birdie fest, and the weather's supposed to be perfect, so should be a good week.
So is the ball rolling out on the fairways longer than usual?
Yesterday they weren't as firm as last year, but I know that with this hot weather this weekend, I don't think they're going to water it much, so it'll start running out more. But I mean, the greens are firmer than last year at this time, so it's going to make for you got to hit some good wedges and know your yardages and maybe play the run up a little bit, and hit higher shots. So it might play into the hands of people who know how to hit the high cut, and obviously you got to make every putt you look at to win at this one. So
that's true. I mean, the reason why I say that, Dave, is that when you get some players, Elena is a long hitter of the golf ball.
Oh, gotcha.
And there are some LPGA players that don't hit it as far.
Right.
So when you have a fairway that rolls out, it brings it kind of levels the playing field, lets a lot of the short hitters get into the game. So it really becomes, as she says, a birdie fest. You got to hit your wedges tight. You got to putt really well. I know Elena spends a lot of time on her short game and wedge game.
Elena, let me ask you a quick question. I met someone months ago. She's been on her show a couple times. That's, I think, trying to break into the
LPGA.
LPGA. Chelsea Pizzola. Do you know her?
No, I don't know that name.
Oh, okay.
How
So
old is she?
she's only like 21 or 2.
Okay. Maybe she's playing the Symetra Tour or something. That's the tour below us.
It could
that's
be.
That's where you go
yeah.
to get experience.
Yeah, because I don't think she's broken in yet.
Yeah, there's even a local mini tour that's one notch below the Symetra, the Cactus Tour, and they play all around here in the valley, and it's a good developmental.
Yeah.
She may be doing on that.
Well, she was in Dubai about a month ago for some tournament. I don't know what tournament.
Was that a LET event?
Yeah, maybe they were there in like December, so I don't know.
Okay.
If that's
that may be it then. Okay, just curious.
Yeah, but next week, as I said, this is a great opportunity to see 120 of the top LPGA world ranked players come out here up front and personal. It's not like going to the Phoenix Open.
And that's next week right here?
Right here at Desert Ridge at Wildfire, right up the street from where we are.
And how does that work? Do you buy tickets and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, so where would they go?
You can walk right up and buy them, but you can go online too.
Hey, that'd be sort of cool.
It is. It is fantastic.
Now, Elaine, do you know, I think her name's Marilyn Smith. Does that ring a bell?
Yes, I do. Yeah, she's one of our founders. And
she was on her show. Yeah, she's a nice lady. She was on her show like 7 years ago, and she
said
she
was
one
hockey
of the.
or what?
No, about golf, I think.
Oh wow!
It was golf, but it was impressive. A nice lady, and so does she attend some of the events still? Or?
This one's called the Founders.
This event is the Founders, so they have founders that people that really started the LPGA come out to this event, and they sit on the 18th green and watch us play. So. You know, all of us are encouraged to go over and shake their hand and say thank you when we walk off the green, and it's just nice to see everybody there. And when you walk from the 18th green over to the clubhouse, they honor all the founders, and they have their picture and kind of a little brief bio, so you can learn more about the LPGA while you're there, which is, I think it's a great feature to have. And really, it's a week where we give back, or want to give back to all these great women that started the LPGA.
How appreciative are you of these great founders?
Well, I mean, I'm very appreciative. If they didn't do what they did back when they started the LPGA, I wouldn't be doing this right now. I don't know what I'd be doing. So
that's a cool thing.
They paved the way for us. They were making like, I don't know, $500 a week maybe, if that.
Right.
Now we're up. Now we're getting these purses. Not anywhere near the men, but it's still a great living if you can get out there and play well. And you know, you always have the opportunity to make a lot of money if you just stick in there and keep working hard. So it's a hard life, but I'm really thankful that I get to do it every day. I really love playing golf.
Yeah, it's, and I tell people how just difficult it is to go week to week, and either you make the cut, you miss it by one, and you still got bills to pay. You still got to pay for your caddy. You still got to pay for your airfare. You got to pay for your hotel. But obviously, the reward is high. As I said, Elena's been doing this since 2003, and I'm hoping for just another solid next week for her. And I want everybody out there to take their little Canadian flags, and I want them marching down the fairways and rooting Elena on. Because, listeners, I know you're here in the Valley. You're all down from Alberta and BC.
And golf is big here.
They are, right? And Elena's a hockey fan, too. So in the last couple minutes here, can you say the most about last year being down in Brazil? What did it mean to you to be on that Olympic team?
I think in general it was such an amazing experience to be part of Team Canada. You're there at the Olympic House, and it's not just a golf tournament. You're actually there with all the other athletes. So golf is an individual sport, so being there in the Olympics, yes, it was individual, but I felt part of the team, and obviously I've felt part of a team before playing hockey, so it kind of brought back, really nice memories to be a part of a bigger team. And, you go out and cheer on the other athletes, and you don't really do that in golf. So it was nice to be a part of that again.
That was just an unbelievable experience. And Elaine is still moving forward. She's got a long career ahead of her. The season has just started out now. It's going to be great, and I can't stress enough to people, come out and watch.
Oh, yeah.
Come out and watch.
Great sport.
It
really
is a great sport with great people.
Yeah.
And it's up close and personal. It's just a different experience. It really is.
Yeah. It's so nice, Elena. Thank you so much for calling in today, and we are supporting you and hope you have a good year, and then we'd love to have you on again.
Perfect. Thank you for having me.
All right, Elena, you take care. Thanks for calling in.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Wow, sounds like a nice lady.
She really is. She's really become family. Met her 7 years ago.
How did you get to know her?
When we had, Barry that was here, we all play out of the same golf course. It's Seville down in Gilbert, and I was on the range one day, and I saw this gal hitting with this just unbelievable tempo in golf, and just introduced myself. My wife and I, we got to be very close, supported her in her Pro-Am that she did every year for Alzheimer's and pancreatic cancer.
Oh, wow.
And she would bring in all these other LPGA girls and have a tournament and fundraising. And it's just been, a lot of people don't hear about that. That goes on in the Valley around here regularly.
Yeah.
They're extremely benevolent people giving back to the community.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. So
that just adds a whole different dimension, maybe the most important dimension.
Right. This sincerity with the players.
Yeah.
And they have to work hard. The LPGA is different than the PGA. Their biggest market is that they have. They have to reach out to the people.
Yeah.
And every Pro-Am they play in, they can't be grumpy. They can't be, not feeling good. They have to be there. They're selling the product.
Yeah, and that's so critical.
It is.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And let's see, we're scheduled to have Coach Kevin Guy probably in a few minutes, and when he's on, we'll talk to him about the game tonight. So we'll talk all about the indoor football league. They were part of the Arena Football League last year, and actually since they've started, years ago in the 90s, I believe. So let's see. So we got a lot of good stuff still to go on. But Marley's, look, I'm watching old-time hockey over there they got on one of the TVs. Remember the masks?
That's, the Kraut line of the Bruins.
Yeah. How did even goalies play without a mask? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, they didn't have the aluminum shafts. First of all, they elevates the puck as much, but no, they get chopped up pretty regularly.
And then those little flimsy masks they had that it looks like they're the Beauty and the Beast, or one of those parties where you have a mask that you sort of hold up in front of your face. That's not going to stop a puck going 130 miles an hour.
No, it might stop the fracture, but it's going to make a nice clean cut behind
the net. That's got to be very, very challenging.
It hurts. And then you wonder why a lot of the goalies back in the day were a little bit different and drank a lot.
Did they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not going to mention any names.
They had to medicate themselves before and after.
And during.
I did hear, I won't say what goalie, but this one goalie would partake of a certain drug that's okay in Colorado, evidently, and you would never know it. The guy was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm not advocating.
The good old days, it was just good old-fashioned Canadian whiskey and just gulp it down.
I love the good old days.
Yep.
Do you miss Boston? Is the big question.
I miss the food.
Oh.
I miss my dad and my family, but today, and I called my brother this morning. The wind chill is about -10. They have 6 inches of snow.
So you don't miss that at all?
No, I do not.
Oh my gosh!
Do not. But the Bruins did beat the Flyers 2-1.
Oh wow!
Newly acquired winger Drew Stafford scored the game winner. So the Bruins continue to rock on, 8-3 now in their last 11, and nobody wants to play them in the playoffs right now.
No,
does.
They're smoking there. They're really playing well. And if the Kings make it, I don't think anyone wants to play the Kings either. But that's tough, though, right?
They are on the outside looking in right now. It's going to be difficult. And there's been a recent development that may change.
Oh, what's that?
It just was announced King Henrik Lundqvist of the Rangers, out 2 to 3 weeks.
I heard about that.
That is a factor.
That is big.
A big factor in the Metro. And if you're Tampa or you're Florida, you have been given hope.
Yeah, that's a shame for what type? Do you know what type of injury?
I didn't hear that. It's probably it could be anything. They call them lower body or upper body. Now they're not going to divulge, but the fact that he is out, and he's a little bit older now, so recovery is not like a 25-year-old. That's going to have a factor because the Rangers have been playing. They're 5-4-1 in the last 10. They need to make a move right here, and this is going to be tough.
It's important. This is the time to buckle down and
crunch time,
and not only get in the playoffs, but solidify as high as you can go for home ice. There's no doubt about it. Of course, the two, we'll call them the good ones, not the great one, because the great one is only Wayne Gretzky, but Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid matched up last night. No one got disappointed. Sidney really thinks the world of Connor. He thought that is more pressure on Connor than it is on Sidney. So, but they both
great players.
Oh man, I mean, so young. Connor McDavid leading the league in
scoring.
Although Crosby was out for a little while.
Malkin would be leading the lead in scoring.
Yeah.
He's missed about 15, 16 games.
He's had a great year too.
He is for the amount, and he got in a fight the other night with the. Yeah, there's a little. If you saw any of the Winnipeg-Pittsburgh game, there was a little carryover from earlier in the year when Olli Mata, the defenseman of the Penguins, without the puck, got his wrist broken or his hand broken, and then there was a little brawl that broke out there, and then Malkin hit Blake Wheeler and concussed him. So the other night was their first game back, so they knew it was going to be a beating. And Blake Wheeler gave Malkin a beating, respected him for it, though. But then there were other fights, and Winnipeg they lost their composure and lost the game. But that was a little bit of old-time hockey.
You gotta love the old time.
You gotta
hockey.
love it.
You police your own team. The game. Don't rely on the referees.
For all the Winnipeg fans that are down here, unfortunately, that's pretty much all the Jets are right now. They're a big physical team.
Yeah.
They need to change things a little bit.
Yeah. Well, they got the young, phenomenal rookie. That's
Patrick Laine.
Yeah, who's definitely going to be a star in this league, as well as and it's a battle now between. Austin Matthews and
for the
Laney.
Calder?
But I think last week you pointed out.
It's Austin Matthews. Yeah. It's
even though he's not ahead in points, he has more games.
He's ahead in media.
But he definitely, a guy with, I think it's 32 goals already.
Yeah.
You got to say, hey, wait a minute.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good.
For a rookie, that is phenomenal.
Right.
And he should only get better.
He should. They're right.
Guess.
Upside is going to be high.
Oh, yeah. So a lot of fun times going on. So hopefully we got Kevin Guy calling in that's just see about the game tonight. There is a game tonight, though, at Talking Stick Arena. The Colorado Crush. The Crush. But they're not going to crush the Rattlers tonight. I do think that both teams are 0-2. It's unusual for the Rattlers. It is a new league, indoor football league. But they could have won the first game. Actually, the first two games they could have. And it's not like they're getting wiped out. They're competitive. It's a whole new team. It's a whole new structure. It's a whole new set of rules.
Oh, it is new rules.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's more like the outdoor game. So
okay.
You give you got to give them a little time. But I do think they'll win tonight. They'll be right back in the playoff thick. It's very early. It's only 2 games right now.
So asking a dumb question, the Colorado Crush.
Yeah.
Do they wear the colors of the Broncos, like the orange Crush defense that they got? Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
I wonder if they do.
Well, I think it sounds like they do. I'm getting a head nod here that they do.
Everyone should come out there and see the game tonight. It's a 6 o'clock start, and it's always fun to watch. I've always enjoyed. Have you seen?
Went to a couple of Rattlers games, and you got to give these guys credit because that's pretty tough out there, and you're not coming home with a lot of money in your pocket.
No, you're not at all.
You got to love what you're doing.
Yeah, it's but I think it is fan-friendly. You get to meet the players afterwards. You go on the field. The kids love it, and the big kids love it. Well, let's get Coach and General Manager Kevin Guy for the Arizona Rattlers on. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Great, Dave. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great, and exciting times tonight. To talk a little bit about the Colorado Crush. They're 0-2. Of course, you've had a tough start, 0-2. You could have won both of those games, but, hey, it's a new league. It's a new system. You're doing great. Tell us, what are the keys to winning tonight?
Well, it's us. You know, we need to complete a 60-minute game and play for 4 quarters, and, you know, we just haven't done that, you know, this year. We've had the lead in the 4th quarter both games, and, you know, but that's part of growing a new team and learning how to win, and you know, it's just part of the process. But at the end of the day, you know, I feel like we've beat ourselves, and we got to stop beating ourselves. I mean, you know, it's about us and cleaning up attention and detail. Colorado, kind of the same boat. You know, you watch them on film; they've let 2 games get away from them as well. They went to overtime in the first game, lost it on an extra. You know, the other team went for 2 to win, and you know, this past game, you know, was in the game and just didn't finish it. So, I mean, it should be a great ball game tonight. We haven't played Colorado Crush since 2008, my very first year, you know, as the head coach here in Arizona. So, you know, old rivalry matchup here, and we're excited about it and looking forward to the game tonight.
And, of course, that 6 p.m. start here at Talking Stick Arena. Everyone should get out there and really enjoy it. I really enjoy the outdoor game. I like the new rule, you know, the rules of the Indoor Football League. Let me ask you this. Have you learned anything about yourself as a coach, going from a whole different set of rules to a whole new set of rules? What have you learned about yourself as a coach?
Well, I have, and what I've learned is I got to get better. So, you know, it's you know, there's always nuances to every little league that you join. You know, every league's got their own nuances, and you know, just things that you see on film during the off season that you think is going to work. They may still work, but you may have to do some tweaking to them, you know. But, you know, I felt like, you know, that we've been in a position, because the first thing I do is evaluate myself. There's always 3-4 calls that I want back, but, you know, I feel like we've put our guys in position to play. We need to execute better. And, you know, but the big picture is, you know, we talked this week, we need to get back to competing. And we've talked about earn the right to win around here, but we really, you know, broke it down a little more and said, hey, you got to earn the right to play. And, you know, we competed like crazy this week in practice. And, you know, we're not going to point fingers. We all got to get better at what we got to do. We love our roster. We feel like we can win with the guys that we got. But we got to learn how to win together. And once we do that, and I think we just need to get the first one under our belt, and we'll start growing from there.
Yeah, and it takes a little time. I mean, you know, switching over to such a dramatic change, and you know, only 5 players from last year's team and a whole new set of rules. But yeah, this should be you know, a good opportunity for you to start to regain that momentum. And do you? I think you have another bye week next week, don't you?
Well, we do, and that's good and bad. The good part is we had time to evaluate ourselves, look at the things that we're doing well, and try to improve on it, and maybe cut down our package a little bit. The bad part is you know, every time we take a step forward, we got a week off. You know, so
yeah, it was unusual to see that.
Yeah, I know, and so you know, it is what it is, and you know, we got to make it work. So we'll get it figured out, and you know, but I'm excited about this team. I fully expect to be competing for the championship at the end of the year. And we're going to put a better product on the field tonight. I think you're going to see a lot more energy in the building tonight. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're up against a hard break now. But, Kevin, thank you so much for calling in. Really appreciate it. I'll see you there tonight. I'm going to be there. Looking forward to it.
Appreciate it.
And we'll see you tonight. Thank you very much. And this is Real Hockey Talk Breakthrough Sports, NBC Sports Radio. We're at Marley's. Come on down, Desert Ridge. It's such a great place there. And we'll be right back after this break.
Are you ready to go in the press box and in the locker room? FanRag Sports Radio takes you there. Weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. Hosted by Chris Schubert right here on NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060.
Radio Hockey Talk, live on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060. We are live, broadcasting live at Marley's at Desert Ridge. What a great place this is. Really, the food is excellent. The TV's all around. There's hockey going on. There's basketball going on. There's a whole bunch of different sports going on. Baseball I even see over there. Of course, it's spring training. Why not? Would there not be baseball? Such a great time for sports right now with, of course, the NHL fighting, the remaining teams fighting for a playoff spot, getting ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's always a fun time. So we're scheduled to have Anthony Kern, House of Reps for state of Arizona, 20th District. That's Glendale. So hopefully he will be able to join us, talk about this whole situation about SB 1149, I believe, where that's designed to have funding arrangements for the new Coyotes Arena if it can get that far. We understand it's stalled in the Senate. I don't think there's much of an appetite for state funding for private enterprise, so I'm not sure that's going to go over too well. So we'll see what happens there. And of course, it's $225 million in public financing for the new arena. There's a couple things like that are going on, but our understanding at this point, doesn't seem to be going anywhere at this point. But we'll have to ask Anthony. The whole project is $395 million, $170 million that the Coyotes would pay if this whole funding arrangement went through. And, of course, we know, and we talked earlier, that Gary Bettman sent a letter, he's a commissioner, of course, the National Hockey League, to the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House, stating that, hey, if the funding does not happen, then Arizona probably will, the Arizona Coyotes will have to leave the state of Arizona. So we'll see what happens. Is it negotiation? Is it reality? I think it's reality. Maybe they will be gone. So, Greg, you're back.
I am.
So we're trying to get a hold of Anthony Kern.
Oh, okay.
And hopefully he's not voting right now, so
yeah.
we're distracting
there you go.
him.
A Saturday vote.
Yeah. No, they don't even work during the week usually. Okay, that was a joke. Okay, if they're listening, my apologies.
Yeah. Usually they just spend about 6 hours a day in their room watching Fox News and then after that, that's the president.
Oh, that's the other guys.
Yeah, sorry.
They actually have day jobs.
Oh yeah, no, I bet. Yeah, no, they work hard. I mean, even if there's things politically, I don't really follow it in the state, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, I mean that's a lot of hard work. I mean, in that sense, where you got to do two different things.
Let's have a quick rapid fire quiz. Doug Ducey, who is he?
The governor.
Anthony Kern, what district?
I know Glendale, but I have no
idea.
All right,
the
what
guy
district.
wins. He wins.
Yeah.
What does he win, Rick?
He wins a pat on the back.
Okay,
well,
there
thank
we go.
you. I'll pat myself.
All right,
maybe she will.
In the meantime, as we're trying to get Anthony, the Kings, a tough game tonight. Washington lost to, who was it?
San Jose.
Oh, San Jose.
Two in a row they've lost the Cavs.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is a trend on behalf of the Kings, but Washington is Washington. They're phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Must win for L.A.
So it's really big.
It is, yeah. With St. Louis winning the other night, what was it, 19 seconds left, and they score in regulation. And so, it's going to be interesting coming down the stretch because, the way you guys were talking earlier about Calgary, I mean, L.A. has 3 games against them left. However, Calgary's so good right now that no one's got – in fact, Calgary, I think, is going to maybe leapfrog Edmonton.
They could.
Something.
I mean, the Kings have winnable games ahead of them.
They do.
After they get by tonight. And in fact, if they beat the Blues, the Coyotes, and Buffalo, they should.
Yeah.
Then if they can beat Calgary, that's a statement game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they need to do.
Oh, yeah. And, one thing with them is that, and Jonathan Quick has looked great since he's come back, and I don't know if Quick will play again tonight or if he'll be Ben Bishop, but the fact that every game they can go to one of these guys usually is a plus. You look at it, Jerome Iginla, his 2 goals, obviously he's not the Iginla of old, but being out of Colorado, and you could just tell in his interview after the game and how much fun he's having, the excitement.
Rejuvenated.
Yeah, exactly. And that type of guy that, he could throw the body, but he could stand up for his teammates. I mean, they've been lacking that this year. Last year with Lucic, they had it, and Lucic, did very well for them. But he would also make a lot of boneheaded plays and stuff. But it's nice to kind of have a guy like that. Is it too late in the year? I mean, are they at a point, I don't know, where, will he kind of slow back down? But each game he's got a little better. And so we've got to remember, Jeff Carter only has 1 goal in his last 11 games.
Oh,
so
I did not know that. Yeah.
So he's still on 30. When it was like between him and Crosby, now a bunch of guys have passed him. He hasn't played bad. It just hasn't happened. So that could be a plus, knowing that at some point he'll wake up again, maybe tonight or soon. And so some of the offensive output that's finally has come from different guys. And so you got to like that. But, yeah, it's a very weird team because they'll look so dominant.
Right.
Where you say, okay, this is still that Kings team. And their defense on paper is much better than it was last year. But then they'll go through, a 20-minute, second period where they sleep and they allow 4 goals.
It's almost like sometimes teams, they will do this. And I've had, they play down to the competition.
They do.
If you watch the Ottawa Coyotes game the other night, Ottawa won that game the last 5 minutes. They just said, hey, what's going on here? They turned it on and blew Phoenix away. And you could see them do that. Chicago last night should have beat the Red Wings. They were just lull. It was not good, and I was surprised Chicago did that then because I'm very high on them right now. They're peaking. I think there's so much inside the Minnesota Wild's head. I don't see the Wild. They're nervous.
I think so.
They got to beat the Hawks, and I don't know if they can.
Man, the Hawks are it's just unbelievable how they had so much success over the years, but with the cap, all the guys they've had to move, but how Stan Bowman has been able to, still replenish things, get some of the young guys they have. I mean, then obviously Panarin, kind of luck out getting him, but on the other hand, he wanted to go there in that sense. Because I think Montreal really wanted to bring him over, and some other teams, but
he's good.
Took less. Oh yeah, it's unbelievable.
His
what
release.
They have.
He scored a goal last night, and it was like the one timer he let go on a pass from, of course, Patrick Kane feeding the puck. It was interesting. I know the Wild last night. I believe they won.
Okay, yeah.
But if you saw what Bruce Boudreau did, he took Kampfer out after 2 periods. I believe they were winning. And he put in Dubnyk.
Really?
And he did it almost like a baseball manager putting in his guy to close out the game. Now, I get it. That's thinking out of the box. And they interviewed him, and they said, I wanted to have my best guy in there to close out the game.
Really?
Wow. What does that do to your backup's mindset, though?
Especially because Kemper's a good backup.
I'm like, okay, I can't finish out the game?
That's unusual.
Wow. Wait, who were the Wild playing again last night? Or?
Who did they play? I need to find that out if you can check.
I
was flipping.
I
was flipping, and because they basically had the Hawks Wings game on.
Yeah,
they played the Panthers.
Yes.
Last night, and they
won
7-4.
7-4 right.
So they got a bunch of goals.
But I think it was 3-3, right, going into the third. Yeah.
And I get it. When you make a goalie change, you usually get a little, get up in your step. But
wow,
Boudreaux's won. He hasn't won the big one yet.
No.
In the American Hockey League, he has for the Monarchs.
He did.
But for here, and I think moves like that, you can have problems in the locker room.
It's very possible. I mean, it's interesting, because not watching the game, have no clue what went on before. I mean, if it was a thing where, even if they were tied going into the third or leading, or as you mentioned. Maybe if he allowed some softies. But that is very interesting. Something that you don't really see, ever. I mean,
I don't think I've seen that ever.
Yeah, you see. I mean, obviously when a team's down, but sometimes. Where did did I see? I know before I had seen, and I can't recall what team and who off the top of my head, but I think a team that was winning and then allowed 2 quick goals, and they were still winning, but then they took their goaltender out because they were kind of weaklings and to wake the team up. But yeah, that's really odd that that would happen there. And Kemper's a good backup, so hopefully nothing bad happens in terms of any locker room distress.
The Wild, they're still the last 10 games. They've won 6, the last 4, but they've not gone 9-1. They haven't gone 8-2. And they've been in a little bit of a funk since they lost to the Blackhawks.
Yeah, they have, and it's a good team, obviously. There's no doubt how they've done this year. Not that I treat advanced stats like they're the best thing ever, because there's some good, obviously, and it's fun, but it doesn't always mean. But there are some things with Minnesota where you go, overachieving. Right. And come playoff time, sometimes that could come out. And although getting Marty Hansel, though, as long as he could stay healthy, knock on if there's wood around here, huge, because he's the guy that you can match up. If they did at one point play Chicago, let's say in round 2, you could match him up with Taves. And whether he shuts him down or not, the fact is kind of matching them up, then you have the Koivu and Stahl lines that could focus more on offense, but
he'll slow them down.
Oh yeah.
Whether they can fully.
Yeah, Hansel's so underrated, just amazing with that. So it will be interesting with Minnesota. Yeah, the West, even with the East, because of how good the Metropolitan Division is. When you look, I think the way the standings still are is the Rangers still are in that first wild card spot, although they would be way up ahead in the other divisions.
King Henrik is out 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, he is. Oh, okay.
So that is huge.
It is, yeah. We'll see. Yeah, Rantha, if he could hold down the fort there. And
so if you're Florida and Tampa, now you see, I got a chance.
Yeah, so let's have join us right now, House of Reps, 20th District in Glendale, Anthony Kern. Hey, Anthony, how are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I am great. Thank you very much for calling in. Of course,
sure,
you're you're more than welcome. And, of course, we talked to Craig Harris, an investigative reporter in the first hour, about the whole Arizona Coyote situation on I think it's SB 1149, the bill that is, I think, stalled in the Senate. Can you give us some light on what's going on with the bill? What's your take on it? I'm sure being from Glendale, you'd prefer the Coyotes certainly staying in Glendale.
Sure.
What's your take on this whole thing?
Well, my take on the whole thing is being from Glendale, I'm not sure if it would be my preference that the Coyotes stay there. I want them to stay in Arizona just like everybody else does. But I think the deal that was made 13 years ago when the taxpayers of Glendale funded an arena specifically built for the Coyotes, I think that kind of that should behoove the Coyotes to stay in Glendale. So I think all of us want them to stay in the state, and I don't think they're going to leave, to be honest with you. 1149 is dead in the Senate.
Oh, it is?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It died a week ago. So I think what the next tactical maneuver that the Senator Worsley would try to do, along with Gary Bettman and the people behind the Senate Bill 1149, their next step would be to try to strike a bill in the House of Representatives and put the language from 1149 onto what they call a striker down there. So I've got some things. Go ahead.
How does that work then? So you I thought so you would they would have similar language in the House.
No.
You say it wouldn't be similar.
No. So what happened? 1149 came out when the Coyotes and ASU were working together to form a district over there, in Tempe, and so we did a press conference. ASU backed out. The bill essentially in the committee that it was assigned to in the Senate, the bill did not have the votes to pass. So they went ahead and reassigned the bill to another committee, and I think it was the Government Committee. I'm not sure. I forget. But anyway, it was assigned to the committee. I think Senator Worsley was the chair. The bill passed out of that committee, but it did not have the votes in the Senate on the floor. It did not have the votes at all. So that means the bill is essentially dead. So what the next maneuver is they could possibly try to strike something on another bill in the House. It could be another Senate bill. It could be another House bill. They could strike the language off a bill and then put the language on 1149 onto that striker bill and try to run it that way. But I can tell you right now, the votes are not there. I'm sure you heard about the poll. 80+% of Arizonans do not want the taxpayers being involved in another sports facility, funding another sports facility. So, I am definitely on the side of the taxpayers. I think the Coyotes and Glendale need to sit down, and Glendale has reached out to do that. And I fully concur with the former Mayor Elaine Scruggs in saying that it is a management problem. And I think if the Coyotes were to find a new manager, I think they would do a lot better, to be honest with you.
I got you. Well, that's interesting that you say that. Now, earlier in our conversation, you thought they would stay in Arizona. So I assume with the bill dead and the next step sounds like that won't pass either. I assume you're meaning they're going to stay in Glendale then.
Well, I would like them to stay in Glendale. Again, I am on the side of the taxpayers, and the taxpayers of Glendale have paid out millions of dollars to the Coyotes already, and they've built them an arena that they still owe $145+ million on, and these are taxpayers. So Glendale has sacrificed public safety. They've sacrificed street repairs. They've sacrificed library hours, libraries staying open. Glendale residents have sacrificed to keep the Coyotes over there. And the underlying factor is there was a little, in my opinion, corruption with the former employee of Glendale being employed by the Coyotes. That was the reason why Glendale got out of that contract. So the taxpayers were not paying $15 million anymore to the Coyotes, win or lose. So that was a bad deal for the Glendale taxpayers.
Oh, absolutely. And
so that's why Glendale got out. But and the Coyotes do not want to. They can't win on their own merits. They can't win games. They can't move themselves up in rankings. So they have to go to the taxpayers of Arizona and say, hey, pay us $15 million every year, win or lose. And the threat of leaving, I mean, come on. They've threatened for the last 10 years to leave, or how long they've been here. They've been threatening to leave all along. It's kind of like a marriage. I mean, if somebody keeps calling for divorce, or finally it just falls on deaf ears.
Yeah.
And I think it's falling on deaf ears.
Well, it seems to me that the Coyotes truly, they've lost a lot of money. We're not blaming anyone, but, it might be bad management like you just stated. And it seems like Glendale's not in a financial position to do too much more either. It just seems like one of these situations that it's just not workable. I mean, do you see a path for Glendale to keep the Coyotes if they're going to lose millions, and maybe they have an opportunity to sell the team, recoup all or some of their losses, maybe make a profit, and then off they go to, wherever, Seattle, Quebec, I don't know, wherever they're going to go. But what do you see about that? Because I don't see it happening.
Let me tell you, if they sold the team, the deal that Glendale has given the Coyotes is the third best deal in the entire league. The Coyotes do not pay rent. They get 100% concessions. They get 100% parking. They get 80% naming rights. They get perks that most teams would die for.
It does sound like it's bad management. That's crazy, right?
Where's the money going?
They get a lot of freebies. So when you get a lot of freebies and you're playing in an arena that was specifically built for you, it's time to say, hey, let's think about this. I do think it can work out. I think Glendale again, has bent over backwards. City officials there have even said, look, we will even upgrade the arena if you need. We will conform it to whatever you would like. But their ears are stopped. They do not want to meet with Glendale, period. And I think the bottom line is they're not getting that $15 million check, the free check that taxpayers were getting.
But let me ask you this, Anthony. Is Glendale at all worried, though, if they do make some concessions, upgrade the building, et cetera, like you said, and the Coyotes do stay, but they continue to lose money and they go into bankruptcy? Glendale's, again, going to have a problem.
Still on the hook.
Well, let's take it one day at a time. I think if they quit trading players, if they, maybe get some new managers in there that really know what they're doing, I think they can. People will pay for a product. The Cardinal Stadium is packed out almost every time the doors are open.
That's true.
It's not location. The stadium, the Gila River Arena, is right off the freeway. There's businesses over there that would, they have everything they need to be successful.
I only have to drive to a Cardinals game 10 times a year, and I'm not going to drive to Glendale 40 times a year from Gilbert.
If you're a diehard fan, you would.
I'm a diehard fan, and I go to 12 games, and that's pretty much above the average for most people on the east side. And I'm not just trying to be critical. It's a tough commute. When there are some 7 o'clock games, I leave Gilbert at 4 o'clock. And I try to get there an hour before because I valet. I like to go up the escalator. I sit in premium seats. And sometimes I can't get there an hour before the game because I like to watch the warm-up.
Sure.
And it's tough. It is tough. But you hit the nail on the head. It's the product on the ice.
It is.
It starts there.
It really is. And let's talk about the commute for a little bit. I do think that, people will drive for a good game. I see it, all in all sports. So I do think if they have a good product and a good team, I think that people will make it. The West Valley's growing, and the demographics 5-10 years down the road that shows the West Valley will actually be growing at a faster pace than the East Valley has. West Valley is more reasonable in prices and all that. So I do think it is the team, and not really the team, not really the players, but I think it is the manager. And who's ever managing this team, I really would have to place the blame on them. Glendale is open. Glendale is open to talk. So let's sit down and talk. I am adamantly opposed to any taxpayers being involved again.
And I agree with you.
I agree also with you. And,
and I appreciate that.
So you Coyote owners out there and managers, if you're listening, get back with Glendale and see what you can do, because it really is a beautiful arena, in my opinion, and it is a great area. Really, there's not a lot of sports teams that are in such a great area where you can just wander around that night and feel safe, right?
And I get what Gary Bettman's doing. He sends the letter, and he's a representative of the owners.
He's got to do it.
He's got to do it. But what he's got to realize is the backlash to him, that is coming off the backs of the people that live in Glendale. And you hit the nail on the head when you said police and fire, schools, roads.
All sacrifice.
They all suffer. And if you're an owner of a big business like Bettman, be careful what you say.
Right.
Yeah, you never know what could backfire. Well, Anthony, you've been great. And, again, Anthony Kern, 20th District of Glendale, House of Reps, we really appreciate you calling in. And we'd love to have you on again as this progresses.
Well, thank you. I appreciate all you do, and keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, Anthony Kern, 20th District, House of Reps. We talked to a politician. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah. It was good.
It's a political show now.
He was a straightforward.
Yeah.
He didn't pull any punches.
Yeah.
Well, the commute thing, I'm not sure. I think that's tough.
It is.
But the West Valley is growing.
Well, I see what he means, as we talked earlier about some of the other big cities already, is that it's common, in L.A. for people from, with traffic to drive an hour and a half, Chicago, things like that.
Well,
and it's not.
But they have subways and stuff.
Right. The way it's situated out here, that's why it's not quite there yet. One day it might be, but yeah, that's tough if you leave at 4.
If the team
takes
was
2
30
hours.
games over 500,
yeah,
they'd probably people would make the drive. We'll go back to 2012. Okay, you would make the drive out there.
Yeah.
And I get it how the West Side is growing. And it should be.
It
is less expensive, and you can see that build up. There you see the ballparks out there now, the mutual stadiums. It made a lot of sense because there's deals to be had out there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the corporate money is still in the Scottsdale corridor on the right-hand side.
And they say most of the fans are out east anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the hardcore ones from the beginning, I mean, there's fans everywhere out west and stuff. I'm west, and you're west too, David. I mean, it would make it. Wait, how would you, if they moved? Would you do the 303 to?
If they move,
let's say they eventually move to Tempe somewhere.
303
like
to
McKellar or something.
To 101.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Or
so that's how you would do it.
Yeah, probably helicopter.
See, I would have to drop. Yeah, just 17101, so it wouldn't be bad.
I like the location actually. But
yeah,
you probably don't.
But yeah, location-wise, yeah, for you especially, you're pretty close to there.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, and the office is very close. So,
good point.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, anyway, again, thank you to Anthony Kern enlightening us that bill is dead. So, and then it's not going to pass. So, no matter the second step of trying to get what they call a striker bill in the House with the same language, that doesn't seem that's going to work either. But we are here at Marley's Desert Ridge. Come on down. We're going to interview the great general manager of Marley's, of course, Justin Skaggs. Talk about what they have to offer here. It's a beautiful place. You got to come on down and enjoy this place.
Beautiful.
This is Real Hockey Talk Breakthrough Sports. We'll be right back after these words.
NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
And welcome back again. You're listening to Real Hockey Talk and Breakthrough Sports. Actually, Breakthrough Sports now, the 3 to 4 o'clock hour. I'm Dave Isaac alongside Greg and our hockey guru from Boston who lives in Phoenix. And now joining us is where we're broadcasting live is Justin Skaggs, General Manager of Marley's Sports Grill in Desert Ridge. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing good, guys. How you guys all doing?
We're doing great. This is such a great place to broadcast from, and it's a great place for your customers to enjoy, relax, and watch their favorite sport, or just relax.
That's right. Yeah, no, definitely. We got a nice facility up here. Obviously, we were on your show there. It's almost been a year now.
Has it been that? It might have been about that long.
Right about this time, I think we guys came out. But
yeah, the Rattlers.
So.
Yeah, that's when Ron Schertz came by.
Right. He
was listening.
To come out for sure.
That was sort of fun. Yeah,
no, it's always good to have Ron in here.
Yeah, he's great. And but you have so many. Okay, let's do Greg's really good at this. How many TVs do they have?
Oh, that's the only thing I'm okay with.
No, intuition. He guessed 101 once, and it
was 101. This is tough.
Not at the
I'd say 27.
I'm
more,
going to.
More.
Yeah, what do you say?
The over-under is 40. I know that, and I'm taking the over.
What are you taking, 40?
Over 40. Yeah, because I can't see on the other side there, and I know
they're yeah, 48.
I'm taking 37.
Yeah, we got give you a little hint to that. We got about 7 on the back patio and 2 outside, so not counting what you can see. So we're looking right at about 35.
Oh, I win!
Okay.
Did I say 37?
Well, we're 5 are ready to be installed. So.
I said 27. According to Bob Barker, it's if you go below it, you win.
Yeah, but I saw Adam Sandler beat him up again.
Yeah, well, you were over.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Dave's out.
I thought I was closest.
Pretty close.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So this really is a great place. The food is really good. The environment's great. And the customers, I was here for a meeting, actually, last week with our friend Jason Bressler, the Phoenix Metro Chamber.
Yes, I know him. I'm in that chamber.
Yeah, it's a great chamber, great guy. And it was just, people love it here. Tell us what do you offer your customers? You have happy hour, I suspect, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have happy hour. We got One of the big things we got here is obviously Monday through Friday we're going to have our normal happy hours from 3 to 7. And then also we do reverse happy hour out here, which a lot of places got away from, and not for whatever reason. But we like to track that back. So from 10 to close, every night of the week we have a reverse happy hour.
Oh, wow.
And that's something that we've had for a long time, but really kind of boosting on that for that late night. But our normal day happy hours from 3 to 7, you're going to get your $3 domestic pints, your $4 import pints, $3.50 well and wine. So it compares to most out there, if not better than some.
Do you have appetizers?
Yeah, we're going to have
a
$6 call appetizer. So there's some boneless wings on there, gorilla wings are on there.
I love that.
We got some mozzarella sticks, nachos. So yeah, we definitely have some of that comfort food for you.
Now, what you said 10 to close on reverse. When does it close?
Close depending on the night, obviously. Earliest we close is midnight. Fridays and Saturdays is 2 a.m.
Those are good hours.
Yeah.
Do you get much of a crowd from the movie theater here?
We get a little bit, but what we'll get them before. So they'll come in for dinner on their way into that. So we'll get them kind of that pre-game for that.
Yeah, it's a nice shopping center, outdoor, and especially with the weather of Arizona, Phoenix, it's perfect to have this type of shopping center.
You're right, and obviously with the weather right now, our patio is one of the most attractive sides to what we have because we have this huge wrap-around patio. And the kids, as we can see right out the window there, we got some kids out there playing the large Jenga set. We got a bags games going on. So that's part of what we have on us at this location as well.
Which is really nice, and I suspect, is it open for private parties of some type?
Yeah, prime example. Last night I had 2 parties booked out there. I had a 30-top and a 50-top. Both had it out there, and they both fit on that back patio. So plenty of room to have those set up, and obviously they can always just call in, make reservations. As long as it's available, we can set those up.
Wow, and you've been here a pretty long time now.
Yeah, I was here when we opened, so we opened this facility.
That is sort of cool. And you have other, I know, locations, but I'm close to this one, and I really enjoy it here. It's such a great atmosphere. Do you ever see Dan Marley?
We do, and I obviously haven't seen him a lot during the season.
Yeah.
Pretty busy guy, obviously. But he does occasionally pop in. He's did a few little broadcasts out of here. Comes in and has
wow, that's so cool.
But, this season I didn't see him as much. I think he's kind of gearing up for next year for sure.
They'll be off probation.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad word, probation, because when you enter Division I, you have to be 4 years on probation.
Correct, yeah.
For whatever reason. I think you explained it to me the other day.
Why do they do that? Just to audit the process?
You know what? From what I've heard, and I obviously I'm not an officiated to this, but what I think it is it eliminates somebody to have a really great team, jump into that that tournament, blow it away, and then next year pull out. So I think it kind of
you got to earn it.
Program. You got to kind of
that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And I guess ASU, some of those teams like the longer process probably, but I think Grand Canyon's quite a good school.
Oh, yeah,
I mean they're going to go far. I think they've set themselves up nicely to be very highly recognized.
They played some really good games this year, gearing up to it. I mean, they had Louisville.
They
played Duke. They played Arizona. They challenged those guys well. I mean, they had a really good season. And he had a few little injuries, I think, that kind of hurt him this year. And hopefully he can get those guys back and get them healthy. And his recruiting on top of that, I think they're going to be pretty good. And I think this year, next year, we're going to be talking about them, hopefully, going into the March Madness.
Well, that would be exciting.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
That'd be really cool.
It would be cool, to have a basketball tournament. I'm thinking of the 4 teams: Division I, Grand Canyon, ASU, U of A.
Right.
NAU is Division I in basketball. Am I correct?
I don't think.
No,
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are.
Well, we got to get them in because we want to have those 4 teams like the Beanpot in hockey in February play like on consecutive Mondays to have a champion for the. That would be good. Build something up.
The ice hockey team division.
No, do it. You could do it for hockey, but you do it for basketball.
I think
too.
they're thinking of it actually.
They should
for hockey. I think you'll
but
see other
basketball,
Pac-12 teams go that way. Actually, I mean, it takes a financial commitment and an overall commitment, but I think it's going to be good. So, Justin, the life and times of a general manager of a great sports bar. You probably see it all.
Yeah, we do.
What are some of your most interesting experiences? And I'm sure you have a few of them. But
some of those we can't say on air. And
that's
we can. Obviously, the excitement of it and the good side is is the everyday deal. I mean, obviously, it's the vibe that you feel when you're having the big games.
And probably the regular customers. Hello, how are you? It's a nice bond, right?
It's an everyday. It becomes more than just work. It becomes part of your nature, part of your family.
Yeah.
That's kind of Marley's MO. I mean, we have these great facilities. We have 6 locations, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
And we kind of run them and we grow them as a family. As we want everybody not just to come in, obviously, as customers and spend money, but we want to outsource that, and we want the extension of family. We do with a lot of organizations, a lot of sporting events outside.
Yeah.
And I think that helps us in the longevity of what we do here.
Yeah, which is really nice, and I really got to credit you. You have such a great way with people. Your personality, your character, you're so approachable, and you love to see that in not only the general manager who sets the tone, but in all the staff. And not every place has that. And I think right?
And those places struggle. Hospitality industry, you have to do it right, or you're just not going to get repeat business. You might get them the first time, but you're not going to get them to come back.
And so you guys, I really credit for that, because we walk in, always a smile on their face. Right. And that do you teach them that, or they just naturally know that? Or
well, I think it goes a little both ways. I mean, obviously, like I said earlier, it's kind of part of our culture here.
Yeah.
We want them to be able to enjoy their jobs.
I think
that's
good.
part of it.
Yeah.
And if you're not enjoying where you're at, then that goes with anything that we do, I think, in life. It starts to drain on you. And if we can try to take some of that out and we create an environment to where not only is it a great sports environment, great family environment, great food and restaurant, but we create a good family for our staff to be able to enjoy working here. And
so
that's why
important.
we keep some of them for as long as we have.
And that's got to be a skill and a talent, I suspect, that you have to be able to set the tone. Because we were talking about Anthony Kern talked about bad management the Arizona Coyotes. Well, this is good management. And how did you learn that skill, or is it just part of you?
You know what? I think some of it is taught for sure, but I think it goes back to being raised and obviously you think back, and I think of my father and how he said, one thing you have is you have your name, you have your word, and you need to be able to back that 100%. And that's kind of how I live it.
Your integrity.
Integrity. You got to care about people. I think there's compassion goes a long ways in anything that you do.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. And
for sure.
That's it really is a credit, because I'm doing like a survey. We're pretty much all over the valley doing a lot of remote broadcasts, and I have a notebook on customer service, and it's not from a judgment standpoint, it's from a teaching standpoint.
Sure.
I'm saying, hey, look at this. I would not have done it that way, and I have a whole list. I'll probably write a book about it, and I think it could be valuable. And it's the goods, good, bad, and ugly.
Oh, you're definitely right. And like you said, I mean, every day you probably do something wrong. It's just how you correct it moving forward, because we're all going to make mistakes somewhere, whether it's in our work front, our home life, sports, whatever it may be. You talked about management of the Coyotes. I mean, there's always decisions that are being made.
Always.
It's just how those decisions, and if they're wrong, how quick do you recover from it? And we haven't yet, so when are they going to recover from it,
How about the corporate environment? You got 6 locations.
Huh?
Do they give you a lot of independence? Or
yeah, I mean, obviously we have some room to grow as a general manager to do some things and make some decisions. But we have a real great management team above us.
Okay, good.
That help out and guide us to where we need to be. And obviously we run a lot past them, but there's a lot that we can do. And I mean, Dan, he also puts in his thoughts and his goals that he needs done. And obviously he's not here doing every day because he has what he has, but he's definitely has his finger on the pulse and knowing what's going on for sure.
And you got some pretty sharp business guys behind you that have a stake in this. And
sure.
I don't know if we can mention our friend who came by.
Oh, Ron,
yeah. Ron is a good business guy.
Yeah, Ron is great. He's one of our investors in a couple of our locations.
He's awesome. The guy has really done a great job with his own business, first of all, but also the Rattlers. Very nice job and committed to the fans, and you can tell he cares.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I've got a chance to get to know him a little bit here in the last year and a half or so in this facility, and on a business side, on a personal side, great guy, and he's
really
passionate, wants to drive where he needs to be on all facets of his business, whether it may be. So
yeah, that is really cool. So, is there anything else you'd like to say? We've said quite a bit about the greatness of Marley's Sports Grill.
Well, I think one of the biggest things that we try to get out and word out is that we have like you said earlier, you look around, you see these TVs. We have all the packages. We do have, we got NHL, we got MLB, we got, everything, that you could possibly get. More likely,
not all sports bars have that, by the way.
Right.
No,
yeah,
because they don't want to pay for it.
Right. You're definitely right.
How about UFC?
I will say real quick, very few have NHL, so that is awesome.
That is
we
awesome.
Get calls all the time. Obviously, being up in this area, we have a lot of Canadian fans up in this area for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But there won't be a day that there's not a game on, and we won't have a hockey game on.
It's awesome.
You see, we have, obviously, we have some of it on right now.
Oh, yeah.
If people call and they're looking for a game, more than likely we're going to have it, and we're going to put it on.
Good.
We'll do our best to do it.
That is. How about UFC type stuff?
We do UFC. We generally don't do every single UFC because they've gotten to the point now where it seems like there's one every couple weeks.
Yeah.
We try to do the big ones. So when we get that one where it's a great matchup, and that's going to be we show those for sure, like the McGregors and the Rondas and whoever.
Is it not any longer in the future with Ronda, but maybe not. Who knows? But
you never know
the cover,
right?
Yeah, that's right.
She's coming back.
Yeah, fighting me.
Really
Who's going to pay for that?
No, she really is making a comeback.
She is?
Hasn't she gotten destroyed her last two fights?
Oh, my God, I saw that. It was destruction. It was brutal,
But they have diluted it. There's always something going on. Even like when it was in Vegas Saturday, there was something going on. I don't know what it was.
They have
everything.
Yeah. So is there a cover charge here?
Yeah,
how does that work?
We do the UFC fight nights, we usually do a $10 cover charge.
Well, that's not bad because it's very expensive for the restaurant.
It is. It can be.
And it's like
depending on the matchups, they change too.
So it could go up or down depending.
Yep. So they control that for sure on their side of it. If it's a big matchup, they know it, so they're going to charge us more for it.
So it's a cover charge plus whatever you order.
So you'll pay $10 to get in the door, and then obviously we have the regular price.
Yeah, you buy.
It's like when Ronda fights you, it'll be a 25-cent cover charge.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
It may last as long as it lasts.
Yeah, it probably will. But the difference is I won't be going after her. She'll be chasing me around the ring. Right. She'll catch me, though. She'll probably do pound and ground.
I'd be a no-show.
Yeah, that would be.
We're still waiting for that Mayweather mix-up. We'll see what that.
Yeah, that's right. I heard about that. Is that going to happen?
The amount of money they're saying that's going to be made off this, I don't see how it doesn't. But I think it's more of a song and dance deal. I mean,
that's what fighting McGregor in a boxing match, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But
what's McGregor thinking? It better be a good payday.
Oh. I forget the numbers they were talking about.
Probably a lot.
Talking $150 million.
That's a month.
I miss the big, good old-fashioned heavyweight boxing matches. You don't have them anymore.
No, you don't.
They're gone.
Tyson,
gone.
Or Alley and Frazier,
even
Alley
Holmes
and Foreman.
And any of those, they're gone.
They're no longer.
No.
UFC is.
Yeah, I think boxing's trying to put some more blood in their life there because they're starting to show some on regular TV to kind of get the entrance back.
Yeah.
It just hasn't really caught traction, and the ones that they do on pay-per-view are more expensive than the actual UFC.
Right.
So us as a consumer side or a bar side, where we're paying for it, we're having to pay more for these boxing matches that we may not get the turnout for. So it's a tough one.
And then you find out both guys were hurt during it anyway, so they never should have fought. And that only discredits the sport even more.
Right. One had a broken hand.
Why fight?
Right.
Well, Justin, thank you so much for dropping by. Of course you dropped by because this is where you work.
Well, thank you guys for coming in. We appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. It's such a fun place to do a broadcast, but it's just I know how many people love this place, the food, the customer service, the environment. It's open feeling. I don't like to be cramped. This is like open, all the windows, the patios, the whole thing. And we really appreciate you having us on today doing the live broadcast from Marley's Sports Grill at Desert Ridge, or is it in Desert Ridge? Which one? At Desert Ridge? In Desert Ridge?
I think there's a wrong answer.
I don't think so.
I think both can fit.
We're in both, yeah.
Well,
we're in Desert Ridge, and we're also in Desert Ridge Marketplace. So
that's right.
We'll take both of them.
I like it.
You got the girls playing up here next week, the LPGA at Wildfire.
LPGA,
oh, that could be good.
We had a friend of mine. I'll be here for 4 days. I'll bring a few of the crew down here.
Yeah,
after that.
come on down.
We usually get a lot of the caddies are coming.
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
I just talked to the tournament director the other day. We talked quite a bit. And we did some cross advertising with them and
good
work
for
side
you.
for them as well. I'm gonna take some family out there. I'm gonna go watch it on Wednesday.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, so that'll be nice.
Hey, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, thank you so much again.
We'll
take a quick break now, and then when we come back, we got a special comedian supposed to be here live in person at Marley's from Rick Bronson's House of Comedy. That's just your neighbor.
Yeah,
Have you been there on High Street?
I haven't been over there.
And
I'm here too much.
That's another one. Is it in High Street or on High Street? or is it a Colorado Mountain Rocky High? I don't know which one it is. It could be either one. But anyway, again, Justin, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And we'll have a great comedian coming in at 3:30, but we'll still have some time to talk some more sports. This is Breakthrough Sports live on NBC Sports Radio, live at Marley Sports Grill, Desert Ridge. And we'll be right back with the comedian. And you say it was Oates, I say it's Outs.
That's a good question.
Yeah, we'll find out when he comes by. We'll have a contest on that.
If we don't get it right, he's going to make fun of us.
He will.
He will anyway. He's going to make fun of you anyway.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll be over here watching.
I have a list of things for him to say.
And we'll be right back.
Hey, sports fans. This is the Rooster. Join me this Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. as the Sports Zoo. Broadcast live from the Angry Crab Shack, located in Mesa on the northwest corner of Alma School Road and Guadalupe.
Right here on NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060. Greg alongside Rick, and special thanks Justin here with Marley's Desert Ridge. Great place, and still nice weather for the patio, especially at night. I think that would be really good.
Especially now.
Yeah.
It's getting nice nighttime weather.
Yeah, there's still a little time left of solid weather. We got a week left. Next week, I see we're supposed to be back in the 90s. But what's great here with Marley's and Desert Ridge, there's a lot to do, and inside there's a lot of space. It's great, and so she said, what was that? 35 TVs, I believe.
That's
and
right.
Some outside on that patio too. So a lot of good stuff.
Nice venue. Very
Yeah,
nice.
absolutely. And so before the comedian may join us, who is unnamed, as I have not seen anything on this week's show, just kind of wandered in. We had a lot of our talk on the Coyotes arena situation, and sort of looking as we're in that stretch drive of the season now. And one thing that, especially with teams that are struggling, is you hear a lot about the draft, but this year it's interesting is it's not a sexy draft. I mean, granted, things could change.
There's a couple of names, but there's no Austin Matthews,
right,
there's no Lane, there's the kid from Switzerland, that Nico Hischier. I'm sure I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Mm-hmm. He's good. He's a player. Nolan Patrick.
Yeah.
And then there's a big drop-off. There
is. This type of draft, I wonder if it's one where you could see a lot of movement, in the sense where, a team picking 15th there in the first round might say, man, we like some players. However, to us, some of these guys on our list that are all similar, some of them we could find, a round or two later.
Right.
So maybe try to trade back, get more picks, while a team that might want to move up thinking, well, you know what, we actually think this guy might stand out a little bit. So sometimes, drafts like this are interesting. Now, obviously, after a guy's drafted, anything could happen. And, you'll see surprises, but it just seems like, based on talent, things like that, it's a little weak. But then 18, I believe, is supposed to be, a pretty highly sought-after draft full of prospects.
I think the success rate on even a first-round draft pick in the NHL in 3 years still playing, it's probably less than 12%.
So,
and a third-round pick, and I was, lamenting that fact the other day for the Michael Stone trade, it's like less than 1% that a third round is going to stick around. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it is hard. I mean, and
I know for teams, a lot of scouting staffs will say, successful draft maybe. I mean, there's different ways you could put it, but if we get two guys that become full-time NHL players, basically, and so that's something that it's just interesting. But it is funny because there could be some teams that really feel highly about guys that are willing to move up, and these are the type of drafts that are always fun if that teams feel there's not much of a difference between a guy at 15 versus a guy at 40 in the second round. I mean, either you don't see much movement because everyone goes, we'll still get a similar player, or you see more in the sense where that team doesn't mind moving back. And, again, a team might say, no, we do have a guy that we think we value a little higher than some of the others. But maybe not one of those years. I know for Colorado, the Coyotes, now both teams have got quite a few young players over the years. But like you said, the kid from Switzerland, even though I think a lot of talk is still Nolan Patrick being the number one guy, I've heard some things about him with how much better he's got, and that this kid from Switzerland, that maybe he could end up being the best one from the draft, possibly.
Patrick's got size. I mean, he's probably going to be able to play center or wing. I always look for defensemen. If you can get a top-notch D-man in the first round, they're usually going to make it. Yeah. And it's not deep.
Yeah.
It's not deep now. There's it's pretty lacking.
Yeah, and with defensemen, since they take longer to develop in a lot of cases, that's one bright spot maybe that could happen ahead, is that maybe you find a diamond in the rough, in the middle round.
Right.
Because we see that quite a bit, maybe guys, second, third, fourth round picks, especially defensemen that, really end up putting it together. And but is this that draft that might have that, or is it just so weak that, no matter how good player development is after? So it's interesting, how drafts work out, not just from top end, but kind of that depth.
And want to make us feel old? Remember Adam Foote? He wasn't that long ago playing.
Yeah.
His son's in the draft this year.
Oh, man. Unbelievable.
A 6'3", 208-pound defenseman playing up in Kelowna in the WHL.
Really? Okay.
And he's a projected first-rounder.
Okay.
Good pedigree.
Yeah. Oh, man. Foote was just outstanding. Yep. So good defensively, physical. A big part of those good Colorado Avalanche teams. Good Colorado Avalanche teams. I'll say good again.
And he's another guy that wasn't on the top 100.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is Breakthrough Sports broadcasting here from Marley's at Desert Ridge Marketplace. We'll be right back here on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060.
FanRag Sports Radio, your source for pro and college content, breaking news, and big-name guests. Don't miss Chris Schubert breaking down all sports from 7 to 9 a.m. on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060.
And welcome back again. You're listening to Breakthrough Sports live on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 KDUS in Phoenix, Arizona. We are broadcasting live at Marley's Sports Grill in Desert Ridge, which is right by High Street, by the way. I don't mean the High Street in Colorado, but I do mean an actual place called High Street. And we are honored to have one of the comedians performing tonight, Leonard Oots.
How's everybody doing? Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah. Hey, how are you? Why don't we put his mic a little bit closer there? And there we go.
It sounds good. Yeah.
So, Leonard, you're there tonight at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy. Rick's a great guy, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I met his wife, Tammy.
And she's probably cool, too.
Yeah, she's real cool.
Yeah.
Real sweet lady.
So, you're there, let me guess, 7:30?
7:30 and 9:45, the last two shows.
Wow.
I had a show Wednesday. I had a show Thursday.
Oh, okay. You came early.
Yeah, I had two shows yesterday.
And how's it going? Good?
Fun. Every time I come out here, I have fun.
Well, I saw some clips on you on YouTube. You are funny.
Oh, thank you, man.
You are really good. I'm not kidding you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was really good stuff. How long have you been doing stand-up?
Well, I've been doing stand-up 5 years, but, being funny, that's just what I've been doing since
your whole life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my whole life.
So you knew this was a calling for you?
Oh, yeah. Even when I played football in Virginia for one of the best teams in the country. We won a state championship.
Oh, nice.
I was still getting in trouble for making the coaches laugh at practice. So it's just always been, comedy or movie. I didn't know stand-up was what I was going to do, but I knew movies and TV was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know stand-up was going to be, my calling and gateway to the screen.
Well, what's the experience been like so far? The 5 years, on the road probably a lot?
On the road a lot. Took a chance, moved to New York, ended up making the best out of it. It's been a blessing, honestly. Comedy I have no complaints
Wow, that is
the ups and downs.
Yeah, it is ups and downs. But it's like the word paying your dues in a way, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what anything. I mean, people always try to correlate paying your dues with negativity. Paying your dues is anything. Mm-hmm. When something positive happens, that's still paying your dues.
That's right. It's just working towards your goal.
It's working towards what you're trying to do.
Yeah. I remember when I was in high school. Wow, that's a long time ago.
You really could remember that.
Right. I'm about to say, you write that down somewhere?
Yeah.
He's reading his resume.
But I did remember I was in, I think, a senior, maybe a junior in high school.
And you received a telegram?
No, with his horse and buggy. With a good friend of mine, and then sort of an acquaintance that was on the varsity basketball team, but he was also in a band, and I remember the name of the band. I don't know how I remember these things. J.C. Walker. And I don't remember his last name, but his first name was Rick. But I do remember my other friend's name. But anyway, the guy said, well, you just have to pay your dues in music. Yeah. And I go, really, how much was that? Okay, so that's my lesson on how I knew about paying your dues.
Yeah, I mean,
and how you wouldn't work in comedy.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked.
Right? I was going to let him slide. I wasn't going to bring that up. I mean, I like paying my dues, honestly. Yeah. I like the shows that you're not always working these clubs. You're not always doing Rick Bronson's comedy club.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're doing the bar and grills. Where
which
people
is
didn't
cool
even know that it was going to be a comedy show. They just came to watch the game.
Yeah.
And now, an hour into the game, they cut to get the TV off, and now you got to try to make them laugh.
That's right.
Like my buddy Rob Hayes, I brought him with me this weekend. He was on the Comedy Central show, Adam Devine's House Party, with me.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, me and him. He could tell you he's from Atlanta. He could tell you where they do shows in strip clubs where.
Yeah. Now you're talking.
Yeah, but until they move the stripper off and put him on.
I want to be a comedian now.
You better be really funny after that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's my point. Where
that's
it's like
pressure.
Comedy is such a pop up, such a makeshift.
No, I mean I'd be a stripper. No, I'm kidding. All right.
I'm sure somebody will watch it.
I doubt it, but. So they want me to go in the ring with Ronda Rousey. Remember her?
Oh, yeah, Ronda, the one that keep getting knocked out.
Yeah, but now because they want her to win, I have to go in the ring with her.
Man, Ronda couldn't beat me up. Ronda, I don't know. I mean,
it was pathetic, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's not. I'm not gonna say pathetic because I get my head knocked off too. But it's just there was so much hype behind her.
But the comparison of what she was versus what happened, she was a tiger in there.
You think she just didn't fight anybody good enough?
Honestly, that could be. I didn't pay too much attention to who she was fighting.
Right.
Because they weren't.
How would you know?
They weren't pushing that. They were pushing how amazing she was.
Yeah.
So she could have been fighting, you know what I mean, kids. And I was like, oh, she's 30-0. That's all I know. But then they put her in the ring with what was the
Holly.
Holly?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, and then the other one was just.
Oh, yeah, the other one was way. I watched it. That was like 33 seconds.
Yeah.
In and out.
Holly didn't Holly get knocked out in the next fight though?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah,
the other chick's still going. I think
she's good.
I think so.
Yeah. She is tough. And so tell us about your style of comedy. Who would you compare yourself with?
I mean, I wouldn't say I wouldn't compare myself. I would say in any genre of anything, of any comedy, any sports, any music, you sort of take from your favorites. So, like, some of my favorites are Bill Burr. Patrice O'Neal was one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
George Carlin's writing was amazing.
You know, his name comes up all the time when we ask that question.
He's
he's a genius.
George Carlin is probably the greatest comedic writer ever.
Oh, okay.
I'll go that far. As far as stand-up, I can't say for scripts, but for stand-up, George, he wrote how many hours specials he put out?
So much.
Until he
Williams?
was 70.
How about Robin Williams?
Robin Williams, I didn't really get to study his stand-up as far as acting, and he was one of the greats.
Yeah, he was.
But as far as stand-up, that's I'm 24. That's way before my time.
Wow, you are young. You got a great career ahead of you.
Yeah, you know.
You need a manager?
I got one.
Damn it.
I got one. I got a couple of them, actually.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I got.
Well,
you
need.
Got my legal one, then I got my mama. She gonna manage.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you can always trust your mom. There's no doubt.
Oh, I don't know. My mama, she got her own stuff behind her. I don't know.
Oh, uh-oh. You have a routine on this, I bet.
Nah, I don't.
But
I'm just being honest.
We could develop it right now. Right?
You trying to get you a job? You want to get you a writing job?
I want to go to the strip club. Are you kidding me?
All this I done told him. He's still on.
You just want to be the pole, though. Yeah.
that was good.
That was real funny. That was dirty, too.
That was
That was a clean, dirty joke.
We're on. We got to. Okay, so far we're so good.
We're good.
So, how do you get picked to be at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy? How does that whole thing transpire?
See, that's difficult to put out there, because it's so many different ways. Like, for instance, I used to get upset when I started out in Virginia Beach. They had a Funny Bone. That's a huge circuit of comedy clubs. I used to be like, why aren't they booking me to feature? Why aren't they booking me to do this? And then the manager sat me down one day. His name Rick Bruni. He sat me down and he was like, all right, so how many weeks are in a year?
52.
52, okay. So take out Christmas, take out New Year's, take out a few weeks that they're not going to be open. You got roughly 48.
Mm-hmm.
These clubs want to sell tickets. So know there's how many, you can name 48 comics that can sell out of clubs.
Well, that's true, yeah.
So it's like, how can I be it's hard to get.
Yeah, how do you get to front of the line like that?
It's not no such thing.
Perseverance.
Good agent, right?
Perseverance.
Maybe, good product agents, that you're funny and a good agent, right?
Right, but it's still. You can be, I mean, I'm not famous. You know what I mean?
So how'd you get on NBC Sports? Oh, we picked you.
Yeah, you know, y'all kept harassing
me. You are
me.
funny though. It really, the clips were. I was laughing out loud. I thought it was very good. Some comics really aren't that funny, but you have a good style to you.
I appreciate that.
And it's very funny. I hope people get out there. It's a beautiful day, a beautiful night tonight to get out to see good comedy.
Come on out. We at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy.
It's a great place.
739. They got good food, good drinks.
Oh, they really do.
It's going to be some good comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's your last chance. I ain't going to be here tomorrow.
Okay.
You got two
That's
shows
right.
tonight.
Where are you, by the way, where are you going tomorrow?
Back in New York. Going back to New York.
You have some gigs out there?
No, I mean, I live out there. I'm going out there, rest up a few days. I got to go do a college back in Virginia and then get ready. I got to go back on the road, do D.C. the 24th, 25th.
Oh, wow. Oh, Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
A lot of good material there these days.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of good comics out there, too.
Are there?
Yeah.
Wow. What's the most interesting place that you've ever done your routine that you can say in there?
The most interesting place in Charlotte, North Carolina. I thought I was going down there to do a festival, and it ended up being like a janky festival, and like we ended up performing in like the backyard of like a mom and pop store.
Really?
Oh man!
Say you got that weird house that's like in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And they had like sodas and all type of tobacco products, and then in the back they had a porch. And they had chairs.
That was the stage, the porch.
Man.
As long as the cash was good.
How many people showed up?
It wasn't good.
That's worse.
It was packed. It was good 30 people. I mean, backyard, you can't fit with so many people.
Wow, that is funny. You think you're going to be at a big, like a Woodstock.
Right.
I'm thinking this is going to be okay. I'm thinking I got invited for a festival.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, my, this is going to be awesome.
Did your agent get fired?
Well, no, this is before the agent.
Oh, okay.
Is it still a big thing, back in the day, I'm old, like Dave, get on, Carson, Leno, to be that guy. I remember like Seinfeld get on. Is that still to get on Fallon in those shows?
I did Conan.
Oh, that's good.
I got a standing ovation. I think they told me I got the only standing ovation ever on Conan.
Wow.
I got
that's cool.
Millions of views on Facebook.
Oh,
YouTube.
really? No.
But it's still, I mean, it's nothing. You got to have like you got to have that fat portfolio.
Yep.
With everything you stand up, because there's so many people that's got late. You could do Late Show. You could do Jimmy Fallon. You could do Jimmy Kimmel. You could, what I mean. So it's so many. It's so much TV. It's so much, Netflix and it's not one. It's not 3 channels anymore.
Right.
That's true.
There's so many media outlets.
Yeah.
It's so much.
It is.
It's so much. You can watch so much on your phone that it's like, who's watching TV anymore?
That's right. There's going to be a major shift.
YouTube,
and there already is.
Right?
Yeah.
YouTube Live now, and
some bands. That's all they do. They put stuff out on YouTube. And get the hits, and you get sponsorship.
That's all you need. That's all you need is the hits.
Right.
All you need is the people. I'm so envious of rappers.
Yeah.
Rappers can build a career, make millions of dollars with no manager, no agent.
But they got it down to a science. They do.
Yeah, I mean, but there is no science with any of this stuff.
Right.
There is no right or wrong way to do it.
It is hard. You got to be in the right place at the right time, too. There's so many people, fate and luck has intervened, because you go to a club, you hear, this band's great. How come they're not selling millions of albums?
Yeah.
Someone wasn't in the right place, so you just got to keep doing it until
you never know who's right. You never know who could be that person.
As long as you love what you're doing.
Exactly.
That's the key, and it will show up on stage.
Right.
Now, we always ask the comics, hecklers, how do you handle that?
I mean, it depends on how they heckling. Honestly, if they're trying to be belligerent and all that, then I go at you. I'm not afraid to do that.
Oh, good.
But I'd rather not. I'd rather just try to stay calm and
That's the answer we.
But if you get the chance to shred him, shred him.
I'm going to shred you. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to make you feel bad about yourself.
You should.
But because some people some people came to have that happen, and that's not what I came to do. I came to work on this material so that I could try and get a comedy special.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So you ignore them.
Yeah, so not ignore them. It's like I'm going to tell you. Hey, it's like I'm not. I'm very.
You have
blunt.
a certain purpose.
Like, hey, shut up. Like, good. Stop.
You got to do what you got to do.
Don't stop. Then I go back at you, and then eventually I'm like, hey.
Now this will show my age, and maybe your age, not your age, but certainly not your age. The question is, if I threw out two names, let's see what you think of them: Don Rickles and Buddy Hackett.
Don Rickles, one of the greatest.
Yeah. He's a legend.
What? You talking about? He was in Ocean's 11, Ocean 12.
Yeah.
What? Don Rickles?
He loved Don Rickles.
Hilarious.
Yeah. He is.
Chief Sharkey. He had his own TV show. Remember that?
No,
he was an ensign.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember all that.
But how about Buddy Hackett? You remember Buddy? That guy was fabulous.
What do I know Buddy Hackett from?
Well,
he was kind of crude. Stand up.
Funny.
He was one of the original.
Actually, the only thing I know him from is Scrooged. He was in that with Bill Murray with like one little scene because they say, and Buddy Hackett is like Tiny Tim or something like that. But
see, Don Rickles was in a time with all these great actors, Sinatra and Dean Martin. These guys were out ripping it up together every Friday, Saturday. I think Jerry Lewis is people didn't appreciate. I thought he's a genius.
Oh, I think so too.
Right.
One of my favorite comics, Gary Shandling.
Yes.
Larry
Sanders Show.
Yeah.
I don't know Gary Shandling.
He was good. Unfortunately,
he just passed away. Very sad. But of course, Seinfeld,
good writer.
Right?
Yeah, and Larry David.
Okay.
Yeah, Larry. Yeah,
he's in another planet for the stuff he writes on.
Yeah.
So do you? How many days out of the year are you on the road?
Well, right now it's picking up. So I can't really say, say it's 365, I'll say maybe 200.
That's
I'm
a
on
lot.
The road.
Oh, wow.
I'm on the road, doing
you
stuff.
Have frequent flyer miles, sorry?
Yeah, not a lot, because I didn't really realize that I was supposed to be saving them until recently.
Oh, no.
I was just buying tickets and then just flying. I didn't have like
a card.
A card or a number or.
Oh, man, you would have had a bunch you could have shared with us.
Man, if I had them, I ain't gonna lie, I probably wouldn't share them. Just to be honest.
But that's a lot.
He would have given them to his mother.
Yeah.
Right.
You would have? Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
My mama got her own frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, I bet she does.
My mama stay traveling.
That is so cool. Now, we had a couple, I forgot the comic's name, but he was good friends with, now you're going to get mad at me for not remembering the little guy that's so funny these days.
Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Boy, he's done.
You didn't remember his name?
I know, I forgot.
Eric Cruz.
So
who you had that's cool with him? Who you had?
Who was that? Do you remember they were friends? It was at Kona Grill. What was his name? I can't remember. But
Spank, Nine?
No, he said he sort of knew. He grew up knowing him, actually. And
Lawrence Killebrew?
What was his name?
No,
he was at
him.
the House of Comedy, though. And
yeah.
It was about 3 months ago, maybe. And I can't. We'll try to look it up. But he was
a nice guy. Grew up with him? Because I know everybody that's cool. Well, I don't know because I know everybody that's cool.
Yeah. I thought he was cool. Maybe not.
He was
okay.
good.
But
yeah,
anyway.
Yeah. No,
but Kevin Hart, how did he make it? I mean, is he that talented or he's at the right place at the right time?
Both.
Yeah.
He's paid his dues. I know that.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's not forget he had one of the biggest, in the black community, it was one of the biggest movies. I mean, it didn't make no money at the box office because we bootlegged it.
Oh.
But Soul Plane, I don't know if y'all ever saw Soul Plane.
Yeah,
I mean, that was over 15, 16 years ago.
Oh, wow. Really?
Soul Plane is an old movie. I was a little boy when Soul Plane came out. Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, Kevin's been, and he was about my age when they filmed that.
Is that right?
So, Kevin, he did that. He did Paper. So, Kevin's been in the black eye for a long time.
Okay.
I've been knowing Kevin Hart since I was 10, 11.
really? See,
Yeah.
I saw him. I haven't. But the Wedding Ringer, I thought was a great movie. I love that.
I mean, and really, I think people are just upset with maybe how much money he's making. But if you think about it, as far as movies, I heard him say it when in the interview. He said he hasn't done any characters that he hasn't done what he wanted to yet.
Really?
He's only started like 5 movies so far.
Yeah.
Really. Wedding Ringer.
Right.
The movies with Ice Cube. Ride Along.
Yeah, that's right.
Ride Along.
Those,
Right.
I mean, you could really consider those they're the same character.
Yeah.
The Will Ferrell movie when he's.
Oh yeah.
That was that.
The one with the Rock.
That was hilarious.
Was it Central Intelligence?
So now, but those are his movies now. So now he's starting to build his.
With
but
him,
before that, he wasn't doing nothing. He was doing what the parts that he was giving. Now he's in control. That's why he's like, nah, y'all gonna have to ride it out with me. He's funny. It's not like he's not making. He's in these movies and you're laughing.
Oh,
So I'm trying to figure out why people are so quick to want to be
they're
against
jealous.
him. Yeah.
See, I love Dave Chappelle.
Oh, I love.
He's He's in a class of his own just because of his body of work. What's he doing these days? Do you know?
Stand up.
Still is.
I work the Comedy Cellar in New York. That's the #1 club in the world.
Really?
The Comedy Cellar. I know everybody loves the Comedy Store. The Comedy Cellar has the best comics in the world.
Wow.
Shout out to the Comedy Store. Got some great comics too. But as far as going to see, Dave Chappelle pops in all the time.
Yeah, that's good.
I went. Matter of fact, I got bumped off a show one time. This was the lineup: Jerry Seinfeld, Amy Schumer, Aziz Ansari, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle.
Oh,
that's a pretty good lineup.
That is a lineup.
Yeah. They got $1 billion worth of comedy for $12 and 2-drink minimum.
Oh my gosh,
that's amazing.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Ruben Paul, by the way. Is the
do
name
you know him?
Yeah, Ruben Paul, young Ruben.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, right?
Yeah, I know Ruben.
Yeah.
And Dave got 2 specials dropping this month on Netflix.
Good.
Oh wow.
March 21st, he got 2 comedy specials coming out on the same day.
Oh yeah.
So Richard Pryor, what do you think?
I mean, he was a pioneer. He's a pioneer of comedy.
Yeah.
So it's the difference between trying to judge somebody that's come up. Like, it's easy for you to be able to say if I'm funny or not, but with somebody like Richard Pryor, he transcended the game.
Oh,
so he didn't have to be funny. He was doing something. It's like Christopher Columbus finding new land.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't, like, anybody after him, you can judge how fast they get there. You know how much gas it took. You can't judge somebody that's doing it blind.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
you know
true.
What I mean?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Oh, he was great.
Guy from Beverly Hills Cop. I loved it.
Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
Tremendous, right?
One of the greatest
Yeah.
actors.
Yeah.
I
No
put him in
doubt.
the same thing with Don Rickles.
Yeah.
Where as far as it comes on screen, you can't.
Phenomenal, right?
Oh.
Saturday Night Live, though, really helped.
And he saved Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I'm about to say, he helped Saturday Night Live. They
Big
didn't help
time.
him.
They were considering taking it off the air,
wow.
basically.
Yeah.
And then, what was it, 82, I think, he came in.
And then what, a few years later, Rock was on there for a couple episodes.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah,
Chris Rock was on
there.
set.
Yeah.
A lot of
I
people
love
love
him.
him.
Yeah.
He is, to me,
Yeah.
one of the more, maybe one of my
Fearless.
favorite comedians.
Fearless.
He-
Say it like it is.
He's back out on the
He's
road.
he is so funny.
He's on the road.
And he was great in Lethal Weapon
Oh, the fourth one.
with
yeah,
Joe
yeah.
Pesci. Wasn't
Yeah.
that funny?
That was
Yeah,
fun.
he
That was
good.
hysterical.
Chris Rock is one of those guys.
Yeah.
Rock, I mean, I don't know if y'all noticed, they whole family funny.
Yeah.
Chris Rock, I used to open for Tony Rock.
Wow.
I didn't even
Okay.
know that, really.
Tony
didn't
Rock
know
is his, but Chris will tell you any day, Tony is just as funny as Chris. He's just got a more urban perspective.
Really?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say more urban perspective. His topics are more urban.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
But Chris, and then they got a little brother named Jordan who's like a year older than me. That's one of my best friends.
Really?
He's on a Netflix show called Love, produced by Judd Apatow.
Oh, we've had him on the show.
Judd
Yeah.
Apatow got a show called Love. He got a show called Crashing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is who I'm around.
He's a talent,
every day.
too, isn't he?
Funny.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know
I'm
who
not
his
used
wife
to-
is? Leslie Mann.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
talking now, right?
Judd Apatow's wife's Leslie Mann.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
She's
Oh, yeah.
adorable.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just know, I see Judd. You know, I'm so used to like directors and producers and people that write comedy not being funny on stage, and then he comes to the Comedy Cellar and he's amazing. I'm like, this is this is who I'm with, like on a daily basis.
Oh, that's awesome.
Shout out to Judd Apatow and Jordan Rock, Chris Rock, Tony
Oh,
Rock.
yeah.
Shout out to everybody.
Oh,
man.
no
A lot
doubt.
of talented people.
How about
Oh,
a
yeah.
shout out to, what's his name? Burgundy. Ron Burgundy.
What, Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
Doing the San Diego announcer.
The Ron, you
The
remember?
character.
Anchorman.
Oh,
right?
I'm a
Anchorman.
Oh, Ron Burgundy.
I thought it was
There's so much
funny.
politics
It is
stuff
funny.
going
Yeah.
on. I don't want to
Yeah, I know.
Ron Burgundy, I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
He sounds like he got something to
See,
do.
was he
Yeah.
with Russia or what? Yeah.
I don't want to answer
Something
nothing about
like that, right?
that.
Will
is so,
Ferrell's funny. I mean, he doesn't do that. I don't think he ever did stand up.
Yeah, no, it's
He's a great actor, though. There's
Yeah.
a lot of great actors.
He can make fun of himself, though. That's what the key.
Yeah.
Do that, then you play different roles.
But Saturday night, boy, they've produced some great comics from Mike Myers, right, to Dana Carvey.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
so many.
Just tons of them. And what's the
Fred,
key to their success, you think? I mean, what have they done?
They work hard. One of my buddies, Pete, I got a few friends on Saturday Night Live. Michael Che.
Oh, yeah.
Pete Davidson. I remember when Pete Davidson first started. Me and Pete, I'm probably a year older than Pete.
Oh.
I remember when I first was able, like, Virginia's a Commonwealth, and I was not able to go to the comedy club until I turned 21.
Oh.
So my first weekend being able to go to the club, he was there, headlining. And I remember buying him a beer because he couldn't go get it. Like, I've known Pete for some years now.
Oh, how fun.
And Pete will tell you, Pete, they write 50-some sketches a week.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. Writing and stand-up is one of those things. When you keep doing it, you naturally get better.
Wow.
The worst person can get great if you do it so many times because it's a muscle.
So you write your own material for sure, right?
Oh yeah, I write my own material. I write for a couple comics and
Oh wow.
What do you do when you say, hey, I need to get away from everybody. I need something new. I need to just compress and come up. What's your vehicle to do that?
Music.
Okay.
Back when I had my car, just drive, just go,
just
go drive, just get in the car, just not go home, go see my parents, just go, be away from it. You know what I mean? So you can think about it. It's hard to think about, what's wrong with this table while I'm sitting here looking at it. But if I go home and see a different table, and I'm like, so why my table don't got this on it?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, that is so cool. So, any special prep before you go on stage?
No, just, hey, listen.
You're ready to go, right?
I'm ready to go.
Wow.
That's it,
Do you get sort of adrenaline rushes from the audience, reacting in a certain way to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when they enjoy it, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to enjoy it regardless because I work hard at it. But, the more they enjoy it, the more energy I can get from them, the better I'll be able to put off energy. And,
Wow, that is awesome. So we want to remind everyone, tonight, 7:30 and 9:45, Rick Bronson's House of Comedy in and at High Street, and it's such a great place, and they're going to enjoy your whole stand-up comedy because I'm telling you, I saw the clip, I loved it.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Make sure y'all come out and see me, man. I was on Conan. I was on comedies. I've done a little something. I got some stuff I'm on that I can't announce yet.
Ooh,
I'm gonna be famous soon, and you're gonna be mad you didn't come see me.
Will you remember us?
Of course not.
Probably not.
Just think of Ron Jeremy, and then you'll remember.
He
Dave.
does look like Ron Jeremy,
it's
but I didn't know what to say. It said NBC. I didn't want to say the wrong
That's
thing.
a whole story. I could
trouble.
tell you story after story how people come up to me from the Kentucky Derby to Las Vegas, and they take pictures with me.
That can be good, but eventually it could be disappointing.
Right, the wrong chick recognize you.
I mean, the Kentucky Derby is really great. The girls with the hats and I'm Ron. I never admitted I was Ron Jeremy, but I'm not. But I could have, but I didn't.
No,
anyway,
no.
So it's such a pleasure, Leonard. Leonard Oots.
O-U-Z-T-S.
That's an unusual name. That's sort of a cool name, though.
It is. I used to hate it because Britney Spears was popping when I was growing up, so it was like, oops, I did it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, but then you get famous that way, so.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I need a logo, something to.
Yeah.
I need something to brand myself, so when you see it, you know that's me. I need to think it. I got to think of it.
A little caricature, something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll come up with it.
Well, Leonard Oots, thank you so much for coming down here to Marley's, and everyone get out there. Rick Bronson's House of Comedy tonight, 7:30 and 9:45. You won't regret it.
If you're on Instagram or Twitter, follow me at Ootsy, OUZTSYY, on Twitter and Instagram. Once again, OUZTSYY.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you to Marley's, and thank you to all our guests today, Kevin Guy, Anthony Kern, Craig Harris. Who else did we have?
Elena Sharp.
And everyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much. And we're preempted next week.
Yes.
But we'll be on
weeks.
again in 2 weeks. We'll let everyone know where we are. And thank you to crew. Always does a great job. And we'll see everyone next
March
2
25th.
weeks. Everyone have a great weekend. Bye-bye.